we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny?
Does that sound fine?
What's the boogeyman?
Welcome back to the Moonjuice Metal Horror Podcast where we live and breathe heavy metal and horror, but are not afraid to shit on both of them. Holy crap! No practice. This is the first time on this podcast where me and Mike have a very different opinion about a film. Really, we're like spot on. Kind of feel the same way about the film.
Yeah.
And we either like it or hate it. Our last episode was Wolfman. We both fucking absolutely hated that film. And this one should be interesting because Mike thinks this film sucks. And I love this film. This is one of my favorite horror films for a lot of reasons. I'm really interested to see what Mike has to say, why he thinks this is a bad movie. And I'll do my best to convince him it's one of the best fucking horror films ever, because I really do believe that. So Mike, what film are we doing today?
Today we're doing the iconic movie Scream. I mean, they're definitely... I mean, you're not a horror fan if you haven't seen this movie. And of course, everybody knows Scream or the Scream franchise. There are like 7 movies now, I think.
I think we're coming up on 7, which it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because I feel like they're out of ideas. Like Scream is one of those that it's kind of the same formula every film, but they inject something new into it every time. With the last film, which the last film was good, it was a good film, but I'm not sure where the fuck they could go with it. I did hear that Stu is coming back. Yeah, he's coming back, which is interesting because dude gets his head smashed in with a TV, like a big 90s TV at the end of the film. This first movie. There's no way dude could come back.
I like that guy.
I like him too. For me, he makes the movie for a lot of reasons, right?
Yeah.
His character is fucking dead. And so there's a lot of things about Scream that you have to keep in mind, right? So this movie and the entire franchise is built on the premise that horror films run on a formula, right? Horror films have rules, that horror films follow a certain like path towards the end of exactly how it's supposed to go, who's supposed to die, why they die, what a prequel is, what a requel is, and what a reboot is. One of the things that they hammer home in all of the films is that if you saw the character die, like die, then he's dead. In my opinion, this character is dead. I have no fucking idea how he's going to come back in this next film.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, it's definitely not going to be a flashback, because he looks old. He does not look like he did in 1995. So I guess we'll have to see. I am interested because I've loved every one of these films. I think maybe Scream, what was it? Scream 4 was not very good, but I didn't hate it. Especially coming off of 3, because I felt like 3 was really good. But when they came back and decided to start doing Scream films again, that was with Scream 6. Or no, 5. 5, 6, and now we're going into 7. I was excited because I love this franchise. It's great. Arguably, people are not going to like this shit, but I think you probably agree with me. Probably the film that saved Wes Craven, right? Before this, as far as the director goes and having his name attached to anything, everybody knew Wes Craven by Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street is, I think, in our opinion, not a very good franchise. Starting with the first film, which is a fucking chaotic mess. And it just didn't get better. But Wes Craven never shook that off. Wes Craven is known for Nightmare on Elm Street. So that's how people knew him up until this film. And then when this film was released by Miramax, everybody was like, holy shit, Wes Craven's got a different horror film. Then it's not Freddy Krueger. Holy fuck. Right? And so people went to see this. The thing that really got the success, that got this movie the success it deserved, what was supposed to be released in the summer. But production ran late, and because of that, they had to push it to Christmas, right? And so because they pushed it to Christmas, a lot of people, tons of people during Christmas have nothing to do. And Christmas time is notorious for not having good films in the theater. But this one came out around Christmas time and people fucking went to go see it. It had a budget of 15 million and made 100 million just on the first week alone. That's insane. That's insane, especially for a movie that came out around Christmas time. So it had some things going for it. I think the other things it had going for it were the fact that it does not follow the formula of a lot of other horror movies. It does not take itself seriously at all. At all. Like if you took any of this movie seriously, then you're missing the whole point.
That's the thing about it for me, you know. I mean, it's not supposed to be a comedy, and I like horror comedies, you know, if they're meant to be horror comedies. But this, I mean, I find it extremely. I can't take this. I at no point could I take this movie seriously, and that's kind of the thing that it kind of bothers me if I go into it, you know, watching a horror movie. I don't want it to be too funny.
Yeah,
I mean, if it has certain funny aspects to it, or it's clearly a horror comedy, I like that. Yeah. I like horror comedies. Okay. But if I go into this like, okay, I want to watch a horror movie, then I think it doesn't take itself seriously. Obviously, you can't take this movie seriously. But for me, it's just a thing. When it's not meant to be comedy, it makes it ridiculous. I mean, what they done with Scary Movie, is a parody of Scream. The first one at least. They literally changed absolutely nothing about the story, and it was a ridiculous comedy.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be honest. That was just when I saw Scary Movie. To the point that if you watch these movies now, Scream feels like a cheap ripoff of Scary Movie.
Okay, I mean, you're not. You're I guess it depends on the way you look at it. You're not way off in left field with that. Saying that you're not way off in left field, because this movie was supposed to be called Scary Movie. That was the original name for it, right? And then they did not think that would take, because it gave away the fact that this movie is probably tongue-in-cheek and a joke on itself. And they did not want the general population who was going to see this movie to think they were going into a movie that was a joke. So they changed the name to Scream. Now, the guys who did Scary Movie were huge fans of Scream and said, hey, and I actually looked it up, but they said, hey, let's take this movie and just do the exact same movie, but make fun of it as much as we can, right? And it was a success. You're absolutely right. This movie is the exact same thing as Scary Movie Part 1, except over the top funny, right? Yeah. And because of that, it worked. I love Scary Movies. Scary Movies fucking hilarious. But this movie, for a movie that does not take itself seriously and is very tongue-in-cheek, some real brutality in it, right? And I think that's kind of what threw people off, because not necessarily scary for people like you and me. I don't even think at the time that I saw this in the theater I was scared. Like, I wasn't. I was. The opening kill is so brutal that I was a little bit like, wow, okay, I didn't expect that, you know? Because you see that they're playing off of horror movie tropes and they're joking around with horror movies in the first scene. And then the opening kill is brutal as fuck, which nobody expected. Like I was saying before we started filming, when I went to go see this movie in the theater, I think it was maybe like day 2 of its release. And after the first kill, or during the first kill, people were walking the fuck out. They were walking out. Like, they were like, nope, not interested. There's a few reasons for that, which we can get into kind of. It's an interesting dynamic that I think deserves a lot of praise. These guys, especially Wes Craven, we need to talk about the writer, because Wes Craven didn't write it. There was another writer. The writer is a writer of high school horror films. He did The Faculty, a couple other high school horror films that I can't remember. We'll probably get into it when you bring up his name.
Yeah.
They got him as a writer. Nobody wanted to touch it because they were like, this is a bit ridiculous. And Wes Craven was at kind of a slump in his career because the Freddy movies, although they had been doing well, nobody took it seriously. So he was kind of in a slump, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." So that's why he ended up doing this movie, right? Because he needed something, and thank God he did. This movie ended up being a staple to the genre.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the movie that you watch if you are a horror fan, not just because it's a great horror movie, but because there's so many jokes on horror in this film that you will not catch them unless you are a fan of horror movies. You won't. There's so many jokes. And if my mom was watching this, she'd be like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. But somebody like me and somebody like you, you're like, yeah, I know what they're talking about with that joke. I know where that comes from. That's hilarious. And that's why I love this movie. It's brilliant. You, on the other hand, do not think this movie is brilliant, and I'm dying to know why.
Yeah. I explained pretty much because for me, I just explained that. Not a few minutes
because
ago.
it doesn't take itself seriously.
No, that's not it. I can't take it seriously. This movie.
You're not supposed to.
What?
You're not supposed to.
What? For the most part, I just think it's insanely fucking. Other than the few brutal scenes, the most of it is just fucking boring. You know, you have like high school kids doing typical high school shit. I don't care about it. I don't know. This is like it's like a fucking teeny movie, and
every slasher film. That's every slasher film. It's okay. It's okay. You can have your opinion. I understand what you're saying. I do. I get it. But at the same time, it's like to say okay. So if you were gonna say I don't like this movie because it's slow paced and it's boring. Okay. I personally don't think it's boring. It does have a little bit of a slow pace, but I think that's there to kind of get you into the characters. I can understand that. But to say you don't like it because it's a bunch of high school kids doing high school things, that's literally every fucking slasher in the world.
Yeah, well, I'm not necessarily that big of a fan of slashers, Matt. But you know that.
Okay.
That's only one aspect.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's not necessarily that they're high school kids. They're all super fucking annoying high school kids. Except for the one crazy guy. Huh? And a lot of this stuff in this movie is totally fucking cringe. I mean, you have like the Nev Campbell romance. I think that's insanely fucking cringe. Then you have the entire thing going on between Doofy and the reporter. And that's also insanely fucking cringe. I
love that when people talk about this movie, they can't remember that the guy's name is Dewey. They always say Doofy because everybody associates his character in this movie with Scary Movie. So I talk to fans of this movie and they're like, yeah, and then Doofy does this. I'm like, no, his name's Dewey. But everybody remembers his character from Scary Movie, and the character in that movie is hilarious. It's like the best take on that fucking character they could have possibly done.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, especially the vacuum cleaner scene. The vacuum cleaner scene's fucking hilarious. Okay, so you're not a big fan of this movie because you're just generally not a slasher fan. I can accept that. That's good enough.
Yeah.
I'm a huge slasher fan, obviously. This movie, aside from being a slasher film, takes tropes in horror movies and turns them on their head. And they did that quite a few different ways. The first way is the part that we'll get into right when the movie opens up. So there was not a whole lot of advertisement for this film. And the advertisement that did come out, which I've gone back and looked them up, advertised that Drew Barrymore was the main character. She is her whole face is on the cover of the movie poster. It's just her face, and some of the other posters that are different is her face with a hand over her face, right? So everybody went into this movie thinking America's sweetheart, which is what she was. Like everybody knew Drew Barrymore. Everybody loved Drew Barrymore. If she was in a movie, it was automatic gold, right? And a little bit before that, everybody loved her. So
Yeah.
to subvert expectations, after she got the role of the title character, right? Nev Campbell's character.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was supposed to be her. And then right before they started filming, they said, you know what? Nah, we're going to give you another role and not tell anybody. And so that's what happened. She was supposed to be in Nev Campbell's role and then turned out to be the person that when the film opened, you thought this was going to be the main character. And then they slaughter her in the first 15 minutes of the film. That pissed a bunch of people off, but it also made a lot of people go, holy shit, okay, nice trick. Let's see what else they got up their sleeve. And they stuck around for it. And like even now you can go back online and read what people thought about this movie. And that's the main thing that's brought up is they thought that they were going to get to see her be the main character throughout the film, but they slaughter her in the first 15 minutes. And that's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. It subverts expectations like a motherfucker. So really fucking smart move. Anyway, do you want to get into cast and crew and director?
Yeah, okay. Well, the cast is first the directors. Of course, Wes Craven, we already mentioned him, and he said script was written by Kevin Williams. You also mentioned the movies is The Following, Scream, of course, was basically mainly what he's known for. Now, when it comes to the cast, we have Nev Campbell playing Sydney, We have Courtney Cox playing Gail Weathers. We have David Arquette playing Doofy. I'm going to call him Doofy. I don't care. Then we have Skeet Ulrich playing Billy. Drew Barrymore playing Cassie. Roger
Skeet,
Jackson.
what a fucking name. Holy shit.
What? Which one?
Skeet,
The Roger Jackson.
What a fucking name. The actor's name is Skeet, his first name.
Oh, yes. Now I get, exactly. Skeet Ulrich. Okay, then Kevin Patrick Walls as Steve, David Booth as Casey's father, Carla Haley, Casey's mother, Lawrence Hedge. God, this movie has a big fucking cast. W. Earl Brown as Kenny, Rose McGowan, as the blonde girl that gets killed in the garage. Lois as Mr. Tate, Joseph as Whip, Matthew Lillard as Stewart, Jamie Kennedy as Randy, and then a few other actors that I don't care about that are playing basically some camera people, reporters, or whatever. So then we got to get into this movie. But before we get into this movie, if you like our podcast, and like this video, don't forget to give us a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel.
Yeah. The casting of this film was also flipped on its head. I think that's also great. If you go watch the documentary about this film and you listen to what the actors have to say, they took them and cast them originally in certain roles and then flipped them around before filming started. Dewey's character, or Doofy's character, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Dewey. Yeah, Doofy.
Yeah. His character was supposed to be like a big, beefy, scary muscle dude in the role of the cop.
Yeah.
And so they originally cast a guy, which they didn't give his name, but some guy who was a bodybuilder in that part. They went back and got him and threw him in the role. And they were like, hey, nobody's going to expect this. It'll be funny. And that's why that character looks like he's way out of place in that job. I mean, it fits. His acting style and the way he looks does not fit a cop. And they knew that that was going to work for whatever reason. And I think that's why it's genius. They just flipped the roles. Rose McGowan, holy shit. Great fucking actress in this film. Like every scene she's in, she acts her fucking ass off. Like she's great. And she has probably one of the most Friday the 13th-esque deaths in this film. Like in true horror fashion, that was definitely my favorite kill for a lot of reasons. But that kill is sweet. It's reminiscent of the kill where Jason squeezes the guy's face, and his eyeball pops out in Friday the 13th, Part 3. Because you see her face smash against the top of the thing. And it just reminded me of that kill. But favorite kill for me, bar none. Anyway, great fucking film. We got a lot to talk about, so we should probably roll into it. the film opens up with Drew Barrymore's character, and she is at home alone on a Friday night or Saturday night, I think. She's waiting for her boyfriend to come over.
Yeah.
They're gonna watch a scary movie, as she says. They're gonna watch a
Yeah.
scary movie and just chill out and eat popcorn, right? So while she's getting the popcorn ready, she gets a phone call, right? And when she picks up the phone, a guy answers. This guy's voice is very calm and nice, and kind of sounds like a young guy who's trying to sound a little bit sexy for a girl on the other line. And he's like, "Oh, what you doing tonight?" She's like, "Oh, hanging out, gonna watch a scary movie with my boyfriend. Who's this?" And he says, "Oh, well, if you tell me your name, I'll tell you mine." And she says, "Oh, I don't think we need to do that." And she hangs up on him.
Yeah.
He calls right back and says the exact same thing that he said the first time. He's like, "Yeah, I must have dialed the wrong number." And she's like, you really want to talk to me, don't you?" And he's like, yeah, I kind of want to talk to you. You know, uh, what's going on tonight besides horror movies and scary movies and all this stuff that you're doing? And he asks her for her name again. She's not going to give him her name. And she says, well, I don't really want to give you my name and I don't want to talk. So see you later. She hangs up on him again. She goes over and puts the popcorn on top the burner so it starts popping. He calls back again, and he asked her what movie they're watching. She said A Nightmare on Elm Street, of course, because this is Wes Craven's film. Why not make a callback? And I like that he makes fun of himself in this film too, because he said, "Oh yeah, which one?" She's like, "The first one, because the rest of them sucked." That's Wes Craven letting everyone know that he didn't have anything to do with the other films. He only did the first one. He didn't have anything to do with it until Wes Craven's New Nightmare. That is the second Nightmare on Elm Street movie that he had anything to do with. So basically, he's insulting everyone that did a Freddy movie after him. And I just think that's fucking brilliant. Go Wes. Go Wes. And I tend to agree. The first fucking movie was not good. I will hold my stance on that, but it was a ham sandwich better than fucking everything that came after it. I think we did Nightmare on Elm Street 2. That was a rough watch. A very, very rough watch. He says, like you said, "What's your name?" She says, "Why do you want to know my name?" He says, "Because I want to know who I'm looking at." And that's where the tone fucking changes, right?
Exactly.
And then she says, of course, his voice doesn't change yet, right? But then she says, "Okay, I think I'm going to hang up now." And he says, in a tone that is not the original voice that we've been hearing this entire time, "Don't you fucking hang up on me again or I'll gut you like a fish." And it's like a really dark voice. And that flip is awesome. I love that part. I love it when he flips his voice. And then from here on out, you hear his voice as it's meant to be the rest of the film. Ghostface, right?
Yeah.
And then she says, "Okay, shit. What do you want?" And he says, "Oh, I just want to play a game." I can't help but think that Saw kind of ripped that from this movie, but whatever.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because he's like, "I want to play a game," and that's exactly what is said in Saw every time.
Yeah, of course, yeah. To a certain degree, Saw got it from this, probably.
And so after that, she says, "What game do you want to play?" He's like, "Well, it's easy. I'm going to ask you questions, and you're going to answer them." And she says,
Yeah.
"Okay." And while she says that, she's running around the house to every door, locking the doors, because now she knows this guy is probably outside my house somewhere watching me, right? And I love the tension here for a movie that you go into thinking that it might actually be a little bit funny and doesn't take itself seriously. This is pretty scary shit. Like, I am not obviously a young female teenager, but if I was, I'd be scared out of my fucking wits. This is fucked up what's going on right now. She says, "What do you want?" After she's done locking all the doors in the house, she says, "What do you want?" And he says, "I want to know what your insides look like." So it just gets more and more grotesque the more she talks to him, right? She starts crying, obviously, because that's a fucked up thing to say. She's scared for her life now. She drops the
Yeah.
fucking phone on the ground and she hears a knock at the door, right? And it's the front door. So she said, "Who's there?" And then she hears something on the phone, so she picks it back up and he says, "You should never say who's there. That's a rule break." And so this is where you start to get the horror tropes of what you should and shouldn't do in a horror film and what gets you killed.
Yeah.
And she wants to hang up again. He says, "Don't hang up." And she says, "Why not?" And he threatens her again. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then she says, "You better leave me alone. My boyfriend is going to be here any minute. He plays football and he's big and he's going to kick your ass." And he says, "Ooh, I'm shaking in my boots." He's not scared by anything that she's saying. Obviously, we find out why here pretty quick. And she says, "Well, he'll be here any minute." And he's like, "Well, his name wouldn't be Steve, would it?" And she's like, "How do you know that?" And he's like, "Turn on your patio lights and look outside." Right? So she goes to the back window, the back door of the house, and flips on the lights. And her boyfriend is sitting out in front of the pool in a chair, duct taped to it and tied down with blood streaming from his face. Right?
And you can see straight up, Matt, that this is not a big guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks pretty scrawny. Huh? He might be a basketball player, but he's not some big football guy because this guy. I mean, I think that he probably. I have the feeling when he stands up, he goes probably only to here. He looks pretty fucking small for a guy. No, not bad, but it's just kind of funny. He was screaming the phone. "Yeah, my boyfriend's super big and he's gonna kick your ass." She was probably just trying to scare him off. But then when you see the guy,
of course she was. I mean, she was just pulling at strings because this guy looks like Pee Wee Herman strapped to a chair.
Exactly.
It's funny because Chrissy said the same thing last night. She's like, "He's not big. He looks like a tiny little guy." Yeah, she's just scared to death and saying whatever she can, throwing everything at a wall to try to see what sticks to get him to leave her alone. So she sees him tied to the chair outside. This guy's terrified. His mouth is bound so he can't say anything. He says, "Don't worry, I won't hurt him if you play my game." Right? And she goes, "What kind of game?" And he goes, "Turn off the light. You'll see what kind of game." Her boyfriend is looking at her, and what one thing in this scene that you probably don't notice unless you're really paying attention is the boyfriend can hear everything that the killer says as well, because he's like, "No, don't do it, don't turn off the light," even though he doesn't say that. No. And it's because the killer is right fucking behind him. You just can't see him. And so she complies, turns off the lights to the patio, leaving her boyfriend in the dark. She sits down in the corner because she's scared to death and she doesn't know what to do. And she says, "Okay, what do we do?" And he said, "We're going to play a game. I'm going to ask you a question, horror movie trivia, and you're going to answer it. If you're right, Steve lives. If you're wrong, Steve dies." Right? And she's like, "Okay, let's do this." He says, "Movie trivia." He said, "I'll give you a warm-up question just to get you ready, right?" So he says, "What is the killer? What's the killer's name in Halloween Part 1?" And she's frazzled. She doesn't know what to say because she's freaking out. He's like, come on. It's your favorite horror movie. You just said that a little while ago. What's the killer's name in Halloween? So she stumbles through Michael Myers, and she finally says it, Michael Myers. And he's like, "Oh, good job." That was the normal. That was the fun question. Here's the real question.
Yeah.
And I love this because
this is what everybody. This is a question everybody gets wrong. A lot of people get wrong.
Oh, you'd be surprised. We actually tested this at a party. So if you ask a bunch of people in a room, even horror fans, this is what kills me. Even horror fans. He asks her, "Who is the killer in Friday the 13th? She wastes no time in this because she thinks she knows it, right? And she's like, "Jason. Of course it's Jason." And he's like, "Wrong. Wrong." She's like, "No, it's not wrong. I've seen that movie like 1,000 times. It's Jason. Quit fucking with me." He's like, "No, if you'd actually watched the first movie, you would realize that Pamela Voorhees is the murderer. Jason didn't show up until the second movie, so your answer is wrong," which means Steve gets it. Right?
Yeah.
It's where if you didn't think this was just somebody fucking around with her, which it very well could have been.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this the first time and thinking her boyfriend could just be playing a prank on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
There's fucking jocks who do shit.
if he was just playing a prank, you could pretty safe to say he's on a good way to be her ex-boyfriend. If it was a prank.
Yeah. I really do. But how many fucking stupid high school guys have done shit like this to their girlfriends? I mean, you see it online all the time. These guys pranking their fucking girlfriends. And they're merciless, right? And I would assume this guy being a jock would probably do something like that's not what fucking happens because she flips on the fucking light outside after he says Steve is done.
Yeah.
And the guy gets disemboweled in front of her. Right? So you don't actually see it happen. You see his face, and he's like, completely like this, and you hear a sound like somebody getting disemboweled. And then when she flips on the lights, you see that his guts and everything on the inside of him is hanging down on the chair. Like he fucking sliced his stomach open and ripped out his guts. Yep. Extremely brutal kill. Was not expecting that, and I don't think everybody else in the theater was either, because there were moans from people like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" So great opening kill. She's obviously fucking terrified at this point. She crouches back down behind the TV where she was before, and notices there's a letter opener on top of the TV. So she grabs the letter opener, thinking she can defend herself with it. And he says, "Let's give you another question. And if you get this one right, you live. If you don't get it right, you die. Which door am I at?"
Yeah.
Right. My smart ass, dumbass self would have been like, "Well, you don't end a phrase in a preposition." Which door am I at is not proper English. And then I was thinking, you know what? That's probably not the best thing to do to a killer who's about to kill you, is like taunt him. But improper English from Ghostface. I just want everybody to know that. So she sits there in the corner and she doesn't want to answer. Ghostface obviously is not a very patient guy, which we're going to find out throughout this film. He's not very patient. So he throws a fucking chair through the back window, the chair that her boyfriend was sitting in, which makes her run to the front room. As she runs to the front room, the house is full of smoke because the popcorn that she has left on the burner is now on fire.
Yep.
There's smoke everywhere. She's freaking out. She's still got the phone in her hand, but she's backing up towards the front door, right? Because she thinks if she can get to the front door, she can see if he's there. And if he's not there, she can take off, right? She gets to the front door and starts to back out the front door. And then you think she's safe, which is cool. Like, she's kind of in the corner with the phone next to her, like looking out. So she's got a great vantage point to everything else. If something was going to come at her, she'd be able to see it. She starts to kind of inch her way around the house to one of the windows, right? She sees Ghostface in the house as she's inching around. And he's running through the house, but he runs to a different part of the house. And this is your clue that this guy is actually two killers, right? And if you had paid attention to this part, you would realize that he's two killers. Because the Ghostface in the house runs to a completely opposite part of the house than where the next one pops up. So she's inching around the house, one Ghostface disappears into the back, and then all of a sudden one pops up right in front of the window that she's standing at, right? Horror movie trivia for this. So she hits Ghostface in the face with the landline. Like, and this is one of those big blocky fucking 90s phones, right? She fucking wallops him in the face with this fucking thing. Wes Craven said he wanted this to happen, but they could not find a stuntman at the time to do it. So Wes Craven was like, "Fuck it, I'll just get in the costume and hit me in the fucking face with the phone. I don't give a shit." So that Ghostface that gets hit in the face with the phone is actually Wes Craven. Because if she were to hit another guy who wasn't a stuntman and hurt him, then you could end up paying medical bills. But if it's Wes Craven, he's not going to sue for his own movie. So he got in the costume and he let Drew Barrymore hit him in the face with the phone. And it's a palpable hit, too. It's not like a nothing hit. Like, she fucking wallops him with this phone. So, again, great job, Wes Craven. She gets around the side of the house. She has to pass by her dead boyfriend's body to get there. She gets into the yard. Ghostface jumps out of the side of the house and grabs her, knocks her to the ground. She's able to kind of kick him away, which is Ghostface is kind of a weak guy.
Yeah.
There are
Very
multiple
strong,
times
yeah,
in this
right about
fucking
that,
film, Mike, where he shouldn't. Dude, there are multiple times in this film where he should not have fallen over or gotten kicked away. Like the smallest girl, including Rose McGowan, is able to just knock this guy flat multiple times. Uh, so yeah, she kicks him away. She gets up and starts running. Ghostface eventually catches up with her, grabs her around the neck, and stabs the butcher knife. Or would you call this a butcher knife? Just a normal knife, right?
No, it's a normal knife. It's not a butcher knife. Yeah. I can show you. I can show you.
Takes it and stabs.
Matt. Wait.
No, it's cool.
Wait,
I believe you. You're a butcher by. You've probably got him hanging around the house, right?
Wait. I got it.
He's going to show me the butcher knife.
This is a butcher knife.
Mike, why is that knife next to your computer?
Huh? Why is it next to my computer? I just pull it out of a drawer. It's not next to my computer.
Okay. Small mental note. Mike keeps butcher knives in drawers around his house.
No, I'm sitting in my kitchen, and I could just grab from where I'm sitting, could grab the kitchen drawer, open it up, and pull out the big butcher knife. So this is a butcher knife, Matt.
You could have just played that off by not telling people that you're sitting in your kitchen. They would have thought you were a complete fucking psycho. He's actually filming the podcast in his kitchen, so no worries. Don't call the police or anything. So, Ghostface stabs her in the chest. She falls to the ground, and she's basically he stabs her in the lung. She's having problems breathing. She's coughing up blood. She is able to get back up after she kicks him again. She kicks him again, and he falls down. She's then able to get up. Still has the phone in her hand the whole time. Gets up. Runs to the front porch, doesn't quite make it to the front porch as her parents are pulling up in their car. They're pulling up in their car, and they walk onto the porch as she is to the left of the porch, trying to get their attention. Problem is, she can't scream because she has no air in her lungs, because he punctured her lung. So, quite brutal. She's standing there screaming at her parents. Nothing's coming out of her mouth. Her parents walk on inside, so they don't see her. Ghostface walks up behind her, stabs her again, gets her on the ground, and starts dragging her away. The whole time he's dragging her away, I mean, and this scene is, for what I think the audience expected, this scene is extraordinarily brutal because she's covered in blood. Her hands are covered in blood. Her face is covered in blood. She has the phone in her hand still as he's dragging her away.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom realizes that one of the phones is missing in the house and grabs the other phone, which if you remember landlines, if you have two phones in the house, everybody has a cell phone now, right? Just explaining this to people that are younger that have probably never seen a fucking landline. What?
Is that?
It's a landline. Landlines at that time could be corded or they could be a wireless land phone, right? So she has a land phone in her hand. It's still on. The mom notices one of the land phones is missing. She grabs a phone, the other phone in the house, picks it up and listens. And she can hear her daughter screaming or at least making noises. So she knows her daughter is on the other line, probably being attacked. That's a really fucking terrible feeling for her parents because there's nothing she can do about it. The dad says, hey, get in the car, drive to the neighbor's house, call the police, right? Because they can't call from that phone because the other phone is open still.
Yeah. Smart move, from him, from his part. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you did back in the day when nobody had a fucking cell phone, which is something I want to point out later when cell phones resurface in this film, right? Tells her to drive away. As the mom is going outside, we get a very brutal scene. Drew Barrymore hanging from a tree with her guts hanging. Yeah. This is the scene in the movie theater where not everybody, but a lot of people got up and walked out.
Yeah.
One, because they killed off the main character that everybody thought would be the main character. And two, because it was an extremely brutal kill. Like the imagery is really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the opening of the film, right?
This is one of those scenes my dad would not shut up about, because like me, my dad is also a trained butcher. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time I watch a horror movie with my dad goes on and on about it. That's not what guts look like. They're never that bloody. And blah blah blah. I mean, before me and my dad sound like total fucking psychos, what a lot of people don't know is that pigs, for example, the inside organs are almost identical to humans. No?
Mhm.
And that's how me and my dad know basically what a human looks on the inside. Because if you've worked as a butcher.
Now, do you
No?
know that pigs' intestines are
Hmm?
almost identical to humans because you were told that, or do you know that? And why do you know that, Mike?
What?
Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
because
Don't
that's
worry about it.
biology. Matt, I mean, that's more or less just a biological fact.
I'm
No?
just fucking with you, Mike. I
No.
know what human
I know.
intestines look like when they're outside of the body because I've seen it a million times.
And-
You're right. Pig intestines look exactly the same as human intestines, and they're never covered in blood. If they're covered in
Yeah.
blood, something's wrong. That means you're a sick pig or a sick human.
Exactly. If they're covered in blood, run.
Yeah.
Don't get anywhere
Yeah.
near it. No.
The other thing that a lot of people don't know is that if you make a stomach incision to get to intestines, that area around where the guts are not extremely vascular, right? So that's the other thing. If you were to make an incision in someone's stomach, there's not going to be a shit ton of blood unless you puncture an organ, right? So you could say the intestines are on the outside of the body and they're bloody because an incision was made, but that's not actually the case. It's not going to be a shit ton of blood. It just doesn't work that way. But for horror movies, it makes sense that they would do that because if you didn't have them covered in blood, everybody'd be like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Yeah, I mean, it's put in there, and horror movies always do that for the gore effect.
Yeah. So the next scene we get is the cringe scene that you were talking about, and I do not disagree with you. This scene is cringy as fuck. This is Neb Campbell and her boyfriend. This is our introduction to Sydney. What's her fucking boyfriend's name again? Do you remember?
Well, wait, I mean, I can look it up. We can just call him Skeet. Skeet Ulrich.
It's fine.
No, we can call him. Yeah?
Ulrich. Yeah, we'll call him Skeet Ulrich.
Ulrich. No?
Ulrich. So, yeah. This whole scene is cringy, but I mean, it's got a few zingers in there that make jokes on horror films and just movies in general, which is cool. But he climbs in through her bedroom window, obviously because he wants to get laid. Like, I think this guy's only purpose in life is to get her to have sex with him throughout the entire film, and he's failing miserably at it, right? And he does something that fucking women can't stand, and I honestly agree with women because it's fucking pathetic. But he tries, and when she says no, I'm not ready, he gets all fucking pouty, right? If you're a woman and you listen to this podcast, we get it. I fucking think that's pathetic as well. Like, hey, I'm happy to see you. You're a great girl. You're wonderful. Oh, you don't want to fuck me? Oh, okay.
No, I mean it's just it's very immature and in my opinion a very dick move. Even I did not do this even when I was a teenager. I mean, for the most part, because I thought dating sucked. It made no sense to me at all, and I basically just saw how all of my friends had all this fucking drama shit going on. Every single day, somebody was crying about somebody. I don't know.
Yep.
And I was like, why the fuck are you people doing this shit to me? Why do you put yourself through that? I stayed out of dating and I don't know, until I was in my 20s or whatever. I didn't really give a shit.
Probably a smart move.
It's a super dick move. I mean, specifically if you're a young girl that is still virgin. Like, I mean, you have to be a little sensible about that because it's kind of like,
Well, not only that, but do you think it's going to help you to get laid if every time you try, you get pouty and shitty and then want to leave just because she doesn't want to fuck you?
Yeah,
this guy does that multiple times.
And an asshole.
It's fucking annoying.
I mean, I understand. I mean, it's understandable if he's just horny as shit. Understandable, that feeling, no? But still, even if you know that your girlfriend is still a virgin, no? I never had that issue, but still, it's kind of like.
Well, I mean, let's let alone the
It's a
let's
dick
let
move to
alone the
have.
fact that she's a virgin, right? She's a virgin, like you said, but her mom just fucking died, like less than a year ago. Like her
Yes,
mom
yes,
died,
yes, yes.
right?
That too. That too. I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you're just a dick, dude. Like your girlfriend's mom died. She's probably still in the grieving process because I think if my mom was murdered, it would take me a while to get over it. So it hasn't even
Yeah.
been a year. He's pressuring her for sex, and every time she says no, he acts like she's mortally fucking wounding him. Just fucking pathetic. Like I fucking hate this guy. You know how you said
Yeah.
before we were filming, you were like, I knew who the fucking killers were, within the first time that I met him. I did too.
Yeah.
And this was my hint because this guy's a fucking asshole.
For me
He's
too.
an asshole.
For me too, totally.
Fucking asshole.
When I first saw this guy come, even before they started making out or whatever, and he's like, man, like I do not know why, but my first thought was that guy's the killer.
Yeah. 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 He's a fucking asshole. And he's a in total twat. So yeah, he comes in through the bedroom window. He comes in and startles her. So when he comes in, she screams, right? When she screams, her dad is still in the house, so
Yeah.
he hears it.
Yeah.
Dad comes down the hallway, knocks on the door and opens it real quick because he thinks his daughter's in danger. Skeet hides behind the bed. And her dad's like, I swear I heard screaming. She's like, no, I wasn't screaming. Everything's fine. He explains, hey, I'm heading out of town. I'm driving to the airport, but I'm going to be staying at the hotel next to the airport. I'll be checked in there. So if you need anything, call the hotel because nobody has cell phones. Nobody has cell phones, right? Nobody has cell phones. I'll be at the hotel, so give me a call there if you need me. And she says, okay, Dad, have a nice trip. I love you. Goodbye. He closes the door. Boyfriend comes out from behind the bed, tries to sex with her. She's not having any of it. He gets all pouty and fucking leaves. There's a few other things to that scene, but they're really not worth mentioning because it's a pretty fucking cringy scene. They're talking about sexual relationships and like R-rated relationships, NC-17 relationships, this dumb fucking whatever. He's about to leave and she's like, oh, how about a PG-13 relationship? And he's like, what the fuck is that? And she shows him her tits, right? What PG-13 movie have you seen, Mike, where you see titties?
I don't know.
It doesn't happen. Wait, you know what, though, Mike? You might not be. Are you familiar enough with like the American rating system for horror movies, or are you pretty much just the German one? Do you understand?
I mean, you asked me what movie I saw boobies. Titanic, not a horror movie, but
wasn't Titanic rated R?
No,
I think so.
It was 12 or 16.
Okay,
I mean,
so that's why I asked. So in Germany, it would have been FSK 12. In America, I'm pretty sure it was rated R for violence and nudity, right?
because
so
one boob.
My point in all of that is
Americans, it's ridiculous.
You're right. Violence and gore, completely okay. You show a titty, it's all over, dude. Like we've got to make this movie rated R now. Yeah,
but the thing is, we said before on this podcast, but I can repeat it. No, Germany, it's flipped. It's just the other fucking way around. Titties and ass all day long, but the gore shit, they have a problem with that. I mean, specifically as a horror fan in Germany, it's bad because it's very hard. I mean, today it's better, but back in the day, it was really, really bad to find horror movies that had real gore in, because that was usually cut out through horror movies. But a movie could have titties and ass all the time. Germany's fine with that.
Yeah. I think I said it on another episode, but like if you watch Braveheart in America on American TV, that's cut for everybody, the violence is still there. You can see all the blood, all the gore, all the beheadings, all the limbs cut off, all that shit. Yeah. The sex scene is not there. They cut out they didn't even bother to cut out the tits. They just cut out the whole sex scene as if it didn't happen. Yeah. You watch that movie in Germany, the movie is much shorter because all of the violence is cut out of it. And the sex scene is still there.
Full in.
Our countries are two completely different fucking countries, man, in terms of what we consider like kosher.
Exactly. But not only that, what I thought was crazy when I first moved to the States, what was mind-boggling, because you go into a gas station or a train station where you usually buy magazines or whatever. And this is absolutely common in Germany, where you walk up to a shelf, you have like Spider-Man comics, Mickey Mouse comics, and right above it, Playboy.
Yep. And they're open for anybody to pick up and read. Like, you don't have to get them behind the counter like you do in the States. Yeah. In the States, if you want that stuff, to ask for it, which is extremely awkward, right? I've never personally done it, but I did. I was in the gas station with adults when I was a kid. They would be picking up nudie magazines, and you couldn't pick them up from the shelf. You had to go to the counter when you pay for your gas and be like, "Can I get a Hustler, please?" Extremely awkward shit. Why not just put them on the rack? But they don't want kids seeing it, but I don't know why. Who cares? Fucking America is a twisted place, dude. It's a twisted place. It always has been twisted. So next scene we get is the high school scene, right? We open up on the high school. And Sydney's heading to school. She's with Rose Mcgowan, which is the first time we see her character. Very good looking girl. Have to say that. Sorry, have to say that. She's a very good looking woman. They head into the school. Sydney's sitting in class. Go ahead.
Well, Rose Mcgowan was probably the only reason why I watched Charmed.
Oh, come on, Mike. You didn't go see this movie because it was a horror film? You just saw it for Rose Mcgowan? I mean, I'm not saying I blame you, but
Yep.
I cannot beat on you for that because I understand. Yeah, so they're at the high school. Sydney is in class. There's very somber tone. So when her and Rose McGowan's character are walking towards the high school, they explain that Drew Barrymore's character was murdered over the weekend. Sydney says, she sits next to me in class. That's crazy. Whatever. I can't believe she's dead. And then you get the class scene where they're all in the classroom. It's a very somber tone. Nobody's talking. The teacher's not really teaching. And then another student walks in and gives the teacher a piece of paper. Teacher reads a piece of paper, says, "Oh, Sydney, apparently it's your turn to go to the principal's office." So what's happening is the police are questioning all the kids in school if they know anything about the murder, when the last time was that they saw the girl before she was murdered, all that stuff. Sydney goes to the principal's office. I love the fucking principal because this is Fonzie. This is fucking Fonzarelli from Happy Days. And I fucking love his character. I love his character because he's such a fucking spaz. He's the worst spaz principal I've ever seen. And a little bit dangerous, too. The guy's a little bit off his rocker, but I think that really works for this film, She goes in, she gets questioned a little bit about the last time that she saw her. This is where you get an introduction to Doofy, right? Doofy's in here as a cop and does not look like he should be in a uniform. This guy is not cop material. It's funny how he defends his title as well throughout this fucking movie. She walks in and she goes, "Oh, hi, Dewey," and he's like, "Sydney, it's Deputy Riley today," and he points to his uniform like, "Call me Deputy Riley. I'm not your buddy right now." And the fucking principal says, "Hey, we're going to keep this brief because we know that you guys were friends and you were somewhat close to her. Do you know anything about the murder?" She says, "No, obviously." And that's the end of the scene. But that scene just served to let you know who the principal is and that Doofy was a character in the film, right? The next scene, I think maybe aside from towards the end, this is one of my favorite scenes, strictly because of Matthew Lillard. This fucking guy is the biggest overactor I have ever seen in any movie ever.
I love him. I love this actor. Pretty much,
oh my God,
every
he's so
movie
great.
I've seen with him so far, I really liked. I like his movies. I remember seeing one movie with Matthew Lillard. He played a punk. I can't remember the title of the movie, but the movie was insanely hilarious.
Isn't it? Is it not LC Punk? Is that the name of the movie?
Maybe it might be exactly that movie. I can't remember. I mean, yeah, it was that one title where he and his best friend were punks.
Yeah.
And later on, the one his best friend dies of an overdose. No, I think might be that movie. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but I know what movie you're talking about. This guy for me is one of the few reasons why this movie is good. He is an almost Jim Carrey actor. If Jim Carrey did not eat all day and just drank Monster and did copious amounts of Coke, this is how he would act.
Probably,
Right?
yeah.
This guy can't keep his mouth shut for 2 seconds. His facial animations are out of this world. And to the actor's credit, he said he could not believe that he got cast in this role because he went up for the role that Skeet is playing. He went up for the main character, and his agent, he didn't get the role, and his agent said, "You know what? I have a feeling this is going to be a big movie, so you should go back and ask them if you can play the unattractive crazy friend." That's exactly what she said to him. It's actually like quoted. He said, "She told me to go back and ask if I can have the role of the unattractive crazy friend." So he went back and he got the role. Right? He said Wes Craven originally did not like him because he overacted in every scene. He's naturally like this in real life. He's a spaz, an absolute fucking spaz. And he overplays every role to insanity that he gets because that's just the character that he is. Wes Craven was furious with him. And then after watching a few scenes that they'd recorded with him, Wes was like, "You know what? Keep doing that. That's great." So because Wes Craven said that, he turned it up a notch. Like he even did worse. He was like, "I played that role like I was insane." And he said, "What I didn't understand was that I was giving myself away, that I was one of the killers. Because naturally, nobody's that fucking crazy." I've known people in high school that were close to being this crazy, but not quite like this guy. And so he looks back on the movie now and he's like, "That is the most insane role I have ever played. Like I played that role crazy." And he's right because he's funny as fuck. The guy is ridiculous.
I can.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, go ahead.
Scentless was a movie where he played a character that was equally insane.
Really?
Yeah. He played an ice hockey player.
What movie?
A funny role as well.
Hmm.
It's called Scentless. It's with this one black actor, also a well-known one. I can't remember his name, but the movie was basically about the main protagonist was taking this drug that magnified all of his senses, for example. And he was using that to his benefit in the movie to get better grades, being better at sports or whatever. And his roommate was a total fucking crazy ice hockey player that just got into fights all day and was always super fucking hammered. And that character was played by Matthew Lillard.
Okay. I'll have to check it out because I fucking love this guy's acting. I love it.
Characters introduced in the movie is an ice hockey game, and he just slams somebody against the wall. And then the coach is like, "Oh, you're being too brutal." And he's like, with this simple crazy face he has, and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, coach. I had a childhood trauma." Something like that.
That's something he would say too, man. Like guys like this, they always have an excuse why they're complete fucking psychos. They always do. They're like, "Hey, man, this is just the way that I am. I was dropped on my head when I was 5 or some shit like that." He does his best. He does his absolute best to give away the fact that he's the killer. And if you were watching this movie like I was in the theater, you knew that this guy was the killer the minute he opened his fucking mouth, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
Because specifically because of this fucking scene right here. Because like they mentioned what happened to the girl, that she was gutted and that her and her boyfriend, their guts were hollowed out, like their stomach cavities were hollowed out and their guts were everywhere. And he's like, "Yeah, that's really easy to do. You fucking take a knife and you cut from groin to sternum, and then you pull out the guts." And I'm like, "That's the fucking killer right there. Why is nobody reacting like he just said that?" Everybody thinks it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Like you just gave away you were the fucking killer, bro.
Yeah.
His buddy Skeet looks at him when he says that and is like, kind of gives him a look like, "You better shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
So if you notice a continuity error here, it's because the internet in Germany sucks balls. So me and Mike look completely different than we looked
Yeah.
yesterday because we're continuing the video. Uh, you would think Germany is like, yeah, Americans think Germany and they're like, yeah, fucking everything's efficient and it's great and it's like the perfect picture of efficiency. Truth is, the internet in this country is worse than like fucking Poland. Like, I think Poland's actually better. But
Every country in any country, the internet is better. Those are things that are definitely not efficient in Germany: internet and public transportation.
public transportation is straight garbage as well. I'd rather walk for 6 hours than take a bus or a train for sure.
Me too.
I don't know how our drummer does it, dude. Stefan is like, I'm always on trains coming back from where I drop shit off. I'm like, dude, I'd fucking kill myself.
I
Fuck
know. Yeah,
public
it's
transportation all the time.
because the trains and the buses always come too late. Always. I mean, with buses, sometimes it's only like 5 minutes or whatever, or sometimes in the worst case scenario is 10 minutes. You're like, okay, fuck it. Nah, not that big of a deal. Can't change it. Huh? But trains. I mean,
Yeah,
it's common for them to come late, like 30 minutes to an hour. That's common in Germany.
Yeah. And then, of course, I hear stories from buddies that are like, they don't have cars at all, so they have to take the train system to work every day, and then they'll get to work and their bosses are like, why are you fucking late? And everybody knows that train system sucks around here, but they give them grief about it every time they show up late. Like, dude, it's a fucking train. I can't do anything about it. Whatever. Fucking Germany. Anyway, from where we left off yesterday, it's the very first part where you kind of get to meet everyone else in the friends group. They're all sitting outside. Stu is a complete jackass, like we said before. The guy's acting is kind of just over the top. He basically outs himself as the killer right here, kind of like what we said.
Yeah.
Randy, who is their other friend who we're introduced to at this point, basically calls him out on it. He's like, how would you know that? You know, like, how would you know how to kill somebody? Uh, and he's like, well, it's not that I do. It's just that it would take a man to do that. You know, the killer is obviously not a woman, which is a pretty sexist statement. And Rose's character, which is his girlfriend, calls him out on it. It's like, that's really fucking sexist. You know, the killer could be a woman. Of course, he's proven wrong, as we find out in multiple other Scream films after this, where a few times the killer is actually a woman, which is cool. But that kind of adds to how brilliant the whole thing is, Mike. Like, the killer looks the same throughout each movie. It's a killer that can be killed and come back because anybody can be Ghostface, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's this whole conversation about you know, the killer couldn't be a woman. It takes a man to do that kind of thing. The whole time he's outing himself as the killer. And anybody who was watching this, just like you said, would have known this guy is the killer. However, at the time I was not aware that Skeet's character was also the killer. Like, that one kind of got me towards the end. You said you already knew the dude was a killer, right? Skeet's character.
The thing is, Skeet is actually the killer. It's just the other guy, Stu, is his bitch.
Yeah,
more
basically. Which maybe in hindsight it would have been better to pick another guy who wasn't such a fucking loose cannon. This dude is a loose fucking cannon, man.
Yeah, totally.
Stu is not the guy. He's not the guy I would have picked as my accomplice by any means.
I still like him though.
Oh, I love him. Like I said, he makes a fucking movie, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I also feel like Randy does as well. Randy's just kind of a fucking kook as well. He's a movie fanatic, specifically horror movies. He's the one who brings up all the time what you should or shouldn't do in a horror movie, who the killers actually are. You can catch at the beginning, and he's basically explaining this entire film that we're watching as well. Like, he's like, yeah, if this and this happens, that's probably the killer. If you say this and do this, you're gonna die, and everything that he says happens. So That's the thing. Like, if you pay attention to Randy's character, you already know what's going to happen in the film. He's basically giving it away.
Yeah.
He kind of makes a joke on Stu's character. He's like, "Hey, I heard you put the liver in the mailbox. Was the person's liver in the mailbox? Did you do that? I heard they put the liver in the mailbox." Like, dude's acting is also great. Randy adds a lot to this fucking film. Um, and probably besides Stu, one of the most interesting characters. Uh, so we kind of get that talk in the park between everyone. There's a little bit of tension, but I think it's tension that was built just to kind of give away the fact that these two guys are the killers. Skeet's character even reaches over and punches Stu in the shoulder to get him to shut the fuck up because he's given too much.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
come on. The next scene we get, Sydney's headed back home, right? So she's headed to her house where her dad is no longer because he's left and gone on a flight, supposedly, right? So
Yeah.
she goes into this house, which, by the way, Mike, this house is fucking gorgeous. And the view that she has at this house is gorgeous. I want to point something out about Europe and America real quick before we dig any more into it. This house and this view that she has is at the location she's at very easily to have all that would cost you $1 million or more, right? In Europe, to have this view outside of your house, I could probably use where you live as a good example. Like, the house is nice, and you have this kind of view from the top of that. Like, it's gorgeous out there.
Yes,
And that's
absolutely. Yeah.
fucking everywhere in Europe, dude. People in the States will pay over $1 million to have that view. If you live in Europe, it's pretty
View
easy to get that
everywhere.
view. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like one of those things. It's just like even the houses, it's a lot of things that you see when you see American movies. It's like they rarely show normal American people. It's all rich people. Specifically in horror movies. Yeah. I mean, specifically horror movies is pretty fucking bad because you can see none of these people are just normal, everyday living Americans. These are all they all have super big houses. I mean, the houses are sometimes I would say even mansions, not houses. And it's like these people are all super fucking rich. All of their kids go to college or whatever. And I mean, you the States is not Germany. It's extremely fucking expensive, in the States to go to college, and in Germany for the most part it's free. Yeah, in Europe for the most part, Germany you have to pay like a fee, like a few $100 per semester, and either than that you just have to still kind of uh, figure out how you do housing and everything, because you don't get very much. But for the college and the education itself in Europe, I don't know any European country where you have to pay for it.
Colleges in Europe are not for profit. So they're
No,
not trying to
exactly.
make a buck off their students. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's the thing in the States, because I also looked into it a little bit, because when I studied food technology, it was only a junior college where I studied that, in Germany. And I was thinking about maybe going on to a full college later on, and I looked into, because you could also study food technology in the States, and I would have also gotten a stipendium for it, but then the thing is, I looked into how much it fucking costs. I'm like, oh, fuck that shit.
Yeah, dude.
It'd be-
It's fucking crazy. When I have friends that like they're doing okay, like they get paid well. Some of them are doctors and stuff. Like and doctors get paid well in the States compared to
Yes,
Germany.
yes,
But
yeah,
these guys still have fucking college loan bills that are in the hundreds of thousands that they're still paying off, right? And I don't think the fucking system works in the States. I really don't. Like if you've got doctors are like, yeah, I get paid 200 something thousand a year. Yeah, dude, but you're paying off a $400,000 fucking college bill, dude. It's insane. It's insane. And then on top of that, everybody wants to live like they're in fucking California, right? You see all these rich kids in horror movies. It's in California, it's in New York, it's somewhere in the
yeah.
countryside. It's gorgeous. Their parents are paying millions of dollars for this house. In Europe, you can have the same thing for not even a third of that. You know what I mean? It just, I, I don't know. We're doing something wrong in the States. Uh, just to kind of put that out there. There's a reason why I live in Europe.
Yeah.
This scene, we kind of get a view of the house. We see where she lives.
Mm.
It's gorgeous. She's tired from school. She comes home and goes to sleep. Uh, Probably passes out for a good couple hours. She gets a phone call. The phone call wakes her up. And it's a guy with an odd voice, specifically the voice that we heard at the beginning of the film. It's the killer, obviously, but he's
Exactly.
using the
Yeah.
same, the same nice voice, uh,
Mhm.
with a little bit of darkness to it. She automatically thinks that it's Skeet, her boyfriend, right? And she's like,
Oh.
"Oh, you're playing a game on me. This is obviously you." She starts talking to the killer as if it's Skeet, right? She's like, "Yeah,
Next
whatever."
point. That's the next hint you get. That's kind of the next hint. You're getting. you're getting.
Yeah,
You're getting hints throughout the entire movie.
yeah. Yeah, well, it's a dead giveaway, but still, there were a lot of people that were surprised at the end, so they probably just weren't paying attention to the film close enough. Uh, but the killer on the phone is like, it's interesting all these killings that are going on right now. It's almost like a horror movie, right? And she's like, um, yeah, it's kind of like a horror movie, and she's wondering why her boyfriend is talking to her about this stuff. And then he says the line, "What's your favorite scary movie, Sydney?" Right? She still doesn't fucking get it. She still thinks it's Skeet, her boyfriend, talking to her. And
Yeah.
she starts talking about why she doesn't like horror movies and how it's like insulting to females. It's like it's always some big-breasted blonde bimbo who runs up the stairs instead of outside away from the killer. It's just insulting to women. And then she's like, "Why exactly do you even want to talk about horror movies? This is kind of a turnoff." And she says his name, her boyfriend's name, and he says, "Well, maybe it's because I'm not him." And then the music shifts, and she realizes she's not talking to her boyfriend. She's talking to some other weirdo who's calling her. Um, and then he says, "Want to see who I am? Why don't you walk out on your front porch? Because I'm right there." Right. So she walks out to the front porch, looks around. There's nobody there. And she still thinks somebody's playing a game on her. So she goes, "Okay, well, if you can see me right now, what am I doing?" And she puts her finger in her nose and starts digging in her nose. She's like, "What am I doing? What am I doing?" And he can't answer her. So then she
Yeah.
thinks it's a joke and that nobody's there. And she's like, if you want to mess with somebody, call somebody else. And she hangs up on him. And then she gets attacked from inside the house, right? By Ghostface. This is the second attack. I am of the opinion that this ghost face that attacks her is probably not her boyfriend. I'm thinking this is Stu for a couple reasons, right? This ghost face
Maybe.
is
Yeah.
extremely fucking
Maybe. Yeah.
clumsy. He trips over his own feet. She's able to kick him over twice. It's just not much of a fight. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's not really doing anything that she's not able to push him away or get him off of her.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of a pointless fight.
Yeah.
Anyway,
This is the next scene, of course, because she runs to the house. No, she barricades herself in the bathroom. No, because she opens up the door that's in the bathroom, so he can open up the door right. No, and he's trying to get. This is just like specifically also because of this scene. I can't stop thinking of Scary Movie because now he's just trying to get through in a Scary Movie. They would know where they're just going. Shush, 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 shush. I mean,
yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny
oh,
because she barricades the door in the same way that she barricaded the door from her dad coming in at the beginning of the movie.
yeah, yeah,
She puts the door so it hits the doorknob from the other side, and this guy, which Stu is not a tiny guy. Stu's probably like a good 6 feet at least, right? And not a tiny guy. He could have busted through this fucking door so easy, dude. Like, okay, so
yeah.
there's a doorknob stopping the door
Specifically,
from the other side.
even though these are like just typical U.S. Wood doors.
Right.
Even though I think pretty much any guy could just easily kick it in. I mean, I would be confident I would easily just take a step back and just kick against it, and it
Fucking
would
kick the door. Yeah.
knock it open. Yeah,
Just kick the fucking door. And I mean, even if the door wasn't closed, like the way she has it, where the doorknob is just hitting the other doorknob, all you gotta do is fucking kick the door hard enough and you knock the fucking doorknob off and you're in the room. But the killer stops, right? He
yeah.
stops. and goes away for some reason. She gets back on the phone and starts trying to call the police. At that exact moment, her boyfriend, Skeet's character, comes in through her window, just like he did earlier. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on, baby? Is everything okay?" She's honestly panicked, right? Because she just got attacked. So he throws his arms around her and gives her a big hug and says, "Oh, everything's okay. If he was here, he's gone now." And at this moment, Mike, a fucking cell phone falls out of his pocket and hits the ground. And we get a view of the cell phone. And it's like the late 90s, not the cheap cell phone. Like you had the big, like blocky brick looking one that you saw people with.
The first cell phones that came out, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not that cell phone. This is a cell phone that you would have had money at the time to own this thing and a contract. This is not something that some fucking kid is going to be carrying around. Right? This is a dead giveaway that this is a fucking killer for me. Because every other cell phone we see in the movie is like a big blocky cell phone. This thing's a tiny, petite cell phone that you would have paid a shitload of money for in the early 90s for, right? And she's immediately like, "What the fuck? Why do you have a cell phone? You never told me you had a cell phone." She runs away from him out her front door. And at this exact moment, for whatever reason, since she just called the fucking police, they pull up. Right? These are the fastest fucking police in the history of movies because she literally called them a minute ago, and the police are already there. Not only are the police already there, but Doofy's there with the police, the chief of police.
Doofy, yeah.
Right? They've already arrested Skeet. Skeet is now in their patrol car. They've got the cell phone in a bag. The chief of police is like, "What are you doing with the cell phone, son? What the fuck?" Right? And of course, at this time, also Gale Weathers shows up. This is also not the first time we've seen Gale Weathers. We kind of skipped it earlier, but Gale is one of those fucking reporters that is just hot to get a fucking story so she can write a book about a tragedy and make a shitload of money, which is exactly what she did when Sydney's mother was killed, right? Sydney's mother was murdered. She wrote a book about it, had been making a lot of money. Sydney's pissed at her, and she fucking hit her in the face at the beginning of the movie. We completely missed that.
No, that happens now.
That happens now? Okay.
That happens now.
I
Exactly.
thought that happened at the school, dude.
No, because you have like because they brought Sydney, I think, to the police because she has to make some eyewitness statement.
Yeah, she's got to make a
like
statement.
keep doing on something. Then there's something happening because Rose McGowan comes in, and you know, it's her bigger brother, and you have like this sibling thing going on, and Doofy is kind of pissed off about it because he's at work now. And Mom told me, when you're here, you should have to see me as a man of the law. What absolutely, I can only see Doofy in this character.
I know, everybody does.
It's understandable. I mean, but from his perspective, it is understandable. I mean, he has work, and his little sister is coming out of work bad mouthing him. I mean, I do not know this. I mean, it's kind of like, how little must she respect him or whatever? No, because when it came to work, neither of my sisters would have done that. You know, and I have two of them.
Right.
I would have also never done that to my sisters when they were at work. You know, I would be like, I mean,
dude, she has absolutely no respect for him, and she does it the entire fucking film too. Like,
yeah. I mean, I get you have like the kind of sibling thing going on, but even for sibling standards, I just think it's like, I mean,
completely fucking uncalled for. You're absolutely right. Like, if this is my little sister, we'd be having a serious discussion, man.
And me too.
It's not like nobody notices either, because the other cops in the station, when she does it, when she disrespects him, he gets upset about it. He's like, "What did Mom tell you? Mom told you when I'm in this uniform, you treat me like a man of the law." And the other cops that are in this room are laughing their fucking asses off, dude. You can hear them in the background.
Yeah, specifically because he said that. He said, when Mom, it's like, oh my, I mean, just like, when I just watched this movie again, I was like, oh God, dude, don't make it worse for yourself. I mean,
Yeah, you just want to like tell him to like not acknowledge it at all because he really gets butthurt, dude. Fucking Doofy gets butthurt as shit every
yeah,
time she
yeah.
does it. Yeah, and so you were right. This is the part where after they've got Skeet's character in the police station, they're questioning him again. The cop asks him, "Why do you have a cell phone?" And he's like, "Well, everybody's got one." That's not the case. This came out in 1995. Nobody's going to believe that. Nobody had a fucking cell phone at this time unless you were rich, right?
Nobody.
His
I
dad
mean,
doesn't bat an eyelash. His dad is
I mean,
like, "Oh, okay, you
I
got a cell phone, whatever."
mean, in 1995, there weren't much people that had a cell phone.
Yeah.
To be honest,
No,
I
dude,
mean,
I didn't have one until like 2001. Like,
yeah, it was the same time around me. The end. I think it was end '90s, early 2000s when I had my
yeah.
first cell phone. No, yeah,
But apparently nobody thinks that's completely odd, right? And I don't.
yeah,
That's like for me that could be the only plot hole in this film, honestly, because uh everybody would have been weirded out by the fact he had a cell phone. And Mike, this is also the time that cell phone bills came in the mail, right? And when they came in the mail, they had your fucking call log. You could look
of
at the
course,
call
yeah,
log and tell who you called, when you called them, all that shit. So this is like really traceable. So it's extremely dangerous to have that phone. The cops would have taken that phone. They would have tried to get the call logs from it, and then they would have realized that he has been this doesn't make any sense, right? We find out later that he cloned the father's phone, and that's like Sydney's father's phone, and that's the phone he's been using. Still, they
yeah.
had the fucking cell phone. He had it. They would have realized that he was the one who was making the calls and he was the killer, right? But of course, for whatever reason, it took them about 8 days to get this call logs and realize that it was him. So eventually,
Plot
you know what
armor.
I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, plot armor all the way. Uh, so yeah, and then we get the scene after they've questioned him and they've questioned her. She goes outside. Gail Weathers runs up to her and says, "Hey, are you okay? Are you doing all right? Can I get like a I don't know anything from you to say what's going on?" And she punches her right in the fucking face. Like just fucking decks her. And this is something that we're gonna see in every Scream film after this.
She
Like
gets
this
punched in the face. Yeah.
Gail Weathers' fucking face should look like a fucking pillow, like a swollen pillow by Scream 5. The bitch gets hit in the face every fucking film, and it's just something you're waiting on in every film. When's she gonna get punched, right? She fucking decks her, she hits the ground, she walks around in the rest of the film with like a blue mark on her face because she hit her pretty fucking hard. Um, they all come back home. Doofy brings his sister and Sydney back to their house to stay the night. Uh,
Yeah.
and her hand is hurt because she punched Gail so hard. Like, fucking Doofy comes in and gives her like an ice pack. He's like, here's an ice pack for your right hook because I know your hand's bruised from hitting that bitch in the face. Um, that's the end of that
Well,
scene. Next, what?
he doesn't call her a bitch because at this point, is it already started hinting between a thing between Doofy and Gale?
Not yet. That's coming
Not
up in
yet.
the
Not
next
yet.
scene.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Doofy's kind of an idiot because you should be able to see a mile away what Gail Weathers is doing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
day, so they have breakfast in this scene. They kind of talk a little bit about what's going on, whatever,
Yeah.
and then she,
No,
so
you missed the scene. You
what?
missed the scene where the killer calls them again. Nani starts to freak her out a little bit. She Sydney starts screaming on the phone or whatever. Blah blah. I don't know. Rose Mcgowan and her mom comes. Then she hangs up or whatever. And I'm not entirely sure the discussion. Then you have this scene that scary movie perfectly made fun of. No, where everybody already left the room. Doofy comes into the room, picks up the phone like, "Hello." Hello.
Yeah, I forgot about
I
this.
mean,
Yeah,
scene is so fucking ridiculously stupid, and it's just like the entire movie just have to think of Doofy.
Yeah,
Right.
that scene is established just to like maybe kind of show that the fact that she thinks Skeet is the killer is a red herring, because
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
he's in jail or he's with his dad right now and would not have been able to call her. So the fact that the killer calls her lets her know, oh shit, it's not Skeet, right? And that's why that scene was there. But you're right, I totally missed that fucking scene. I forgot about
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Because this is the perfect scene in Scary Movie where where it's revealed that Doofy is in his bedroom fucking his vacuum cleaner. Because in Scary Movie he comes out with him holding the vacuum cleaner, and
He's like,
after
you not to bother me when I got the vacuum cleaner
yeah,
down.
nobody's supposed to bother me when I'm cleaning my room. I mean,
Doesn't help he
that's
walks out with his pants around his knees, you know what I mean?
now to go off topic a little bit, that's something I never really understood, because the first time I was actually introduced to that was Scary Movie, of course. You know,
Yeah.
guys fucking their vacuum cleaner, no? Because after I saw a Scary Movie, I looked this up, and then I found out this was actually something for some reason people did, and I
Are you serious?
what? Huh?
What? Are you
Yes,
serious? People actually
this
do that
is
shit?
something. This is something that for
You gotta be
some
kidding.
fucked up reason people actually did. Typical incel guys. The stereotype of a guy fucking his vacuum cleaner, no, really comes from somewhere. And the first time it was done in a movie was Scary Movie, and they picked that up off of these weird ass fucking stories on the internet. You know.
Dude, I mean, I was always a hornball when I was a kid, but I don't think I would have ever thought to use a fucking vacuum cleaner. That's just that's like there's some ingenuity there, dude. Like, but I don't think that would feel all that great,
No
honestly.
idea, dude. I mean, I never even thought about doing that. You know, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I
That's
never
fucking
thought about. I don't know. I mean, jerking off is one thing, Matt. You know, but I never thought about sticking my dick into anything else but into a human. You know.
no. I don't either. Maybe Mike, maybe you and I are just not imaginative enough, dude. Like, are we just boring dudes?
I mean, I don't think the most people think about fucking their vacuum cleaners or even try it. I don't know.
No.
No? I mean, I think there's probably a lot of people when they're in the teenage years that try out a lot of kinky shit. I can imagine that, no? But I don't. I do not think that fucking your vacuum cleaner is one of them.
No.
No, I don't think a normal person does that. I mean, somebody that's insanely fucking lonely, and for and for some reason, thinks that might some way simulate it.
Dude, I don't even want to think about it. That's just fucking weird. Whatever.
But also, I have.
If you listen to this podcast and you fucked your vacuum cleaner as a kid, please write us and tell us. We would hear all about it.
I mean, there's a lot of fucked up stuff I read about. I also read about one guy in a swimming pool, you know, because he used to have holes where you know
Oh, dude,
the rainwater
no.
went into.
No.
A guy?
There's a movie where a guy does that. I think Zach Galifianakis is in it,
Yeah.
and he ends up like stuck in the pool because it's freezing outside. He tries to fuck the hole in the pool, and he gets stuck in there and gets stuck there overnight, and somebody has to pull him out of it the next morning. I can't remember the name of the movie, but yeah, that happens in a movie.
Matt, that is also something that has actually happened in the real world multiple times.
Oh, I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has. But that is like that is so much better, I think,
Yeah.
than fucking a vacuum cleaner would be. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A vacuum cleaner is just a little strange, dude.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, yeah.
Fuck, it makes me. Never mind.
Okay, let's get back to the movie.
We'll get fucking canceled. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Now I got nothing but pictures in my head of you fucking macking things. All right. Fuck. Okay, so we're at the next day at school. Sydney goes to school.
Yeah.
Sydney goes to school. This is the night after she fucking punched Gail Weathers in the face, right? She sees Gail Weathers again at the school in her van, walks up
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah.
Gail's like putting makeup on her face because she's got a big bruise. She sees Sydney walking up to her and she thinks, oh shit, this bitch is gonna punch me again. So she's like, hold on, stop right there. And Sydney's like, hey, I'm not here to punch you. I'm not here to do anything. I just want to talk. So they have a conversation about her mother, right? Because her mother was murdered. Gail Weathers obviously followed the story and wrote a book about it. So she wanted to come and have a conversation with her about it, right? Gail is like, look, I know I bring this up all the time, but it was one of the hottest court cases in the world at the time. So I wrote a book about it. Big fucking deal. But understand this, the guy, Cotton Weary, which that's the guy's name, that was framed for the murder of her mother. Sydney's the one that eyewitnessed him in the case and said, I saw Cotton Weary leaving my house after my mother was murdered, wearing the jacket that was found in his car covered in my mom's blood. Gail Weathers says, no, I've interviewed him multiple times. The guy has never changed his story. The guy didn't do it. You got the wrong guy. So there's a guy in jail right now who is rotting away because you picked the wrong person. So he's innocent. And she says, but what about the jacket he was wearing with my mom's blood? She said, no, you saw a guy leaving the house that was wearing Cotton Weary's jacket and you automatically thought it was him. And that's why he's in prison. So maybe you should think about that. Turns out she's right, but we'll find that out later, right? Cotton Weary's character comes back in Scream 2 and 3, right? Really good character. This is I don't want to say the first film that this actor was in, but I think this was a minor role that they only filmed one scene of him getting taken away by the police, and you only see it on the TV. Turns out that actor could act really well and comes back in 2 and 3 and is an integral part to the story in all later, because he's exonerated after all this shit happens, right? Um, I just think that's interesting because we're going to end up doing Scream 2 and 3 and probably the rest of them anyway eventually. But what's the fucking actor's name? He played Wolverine's brother in the standalone Wolverine movie, Sabretooth. I cannot
It
remember.
was X-Men Origins Wolverine, Sabretooth.
Yeah, but I can't remember the actor's name.
By the way, only this was the movie that made Wolverine and Sabretooth brothers because they never were
No, they never.
before this movie.
No, not even in the book. Actually,
I mean,
for the longest
comic
time,
book.
everybody in the comic books thought that that was his dad.
No, I mean, no. There was never. I mean, I'm not. Okay, go off topic. Sabretooth was just kind of Wolverine's arch enemy, and he had the same mutation, basically the same power as Wolverine did. He was just the predecessor to Wolverine, because Wolverine was not the first one they done this experiment on. No, he was just the first one that it worked on. And Sabretooth was more or less same mutation, but for some fucked up reason, I don't know why it didn't work on him or whatever. And then somehow him and Wolverine got a feud because I guess at that time they had to give Wolverine an arch enemy. So here, this guy, no, I don't know.
I mean, it had to be Sabretooth, right? Because they couldn't use Magneto. If Wolverine went up against Magneto and that was his arch enemy, it'd be over in 2 seconds. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the thing is, just like the thing is with X-Men, there's not a main protagonist in X-Men. Wolverine is just the most popular X-Men, But it's I don't know, it's somehow Sabretooth is mixed in with Wolverine's origin story, but they were never brothers. I don't even think they were
not
related.
in the books. I remember that. Well, it was one of those things that they left open for a long time. I remember because my cousin worked at Marvel Comics at the time that I was that age and really into comic books. So I
Yeah.
got the whole backstory. I collected comics. We talked about it a lot. He was of the opinion that Sabretooth was actually his father, and that was the running rumor at the time. Later, that was killed, that he's not actually his father. I'm not even sure they're fucking related, honestly. In any way.
No, I don't think they're related. I mean,
Doesn't matter.
even the thing in the comics that Wolverine and Sabretooth are related is just fan theories.
I mean, I quit following the comics a ways back, dude, but I like the character. I like the whole story. I like everything about Wolverine. I just feel like
Yeah.
Marvel Comics has basically lived off of Wolverine's coattails for so long, especially in the movie universe. Like, if it's got Wolverine in it, even if it's a terrible movie, it's going to do well. And Wolverine Origins was a great example of that, because
Yeah.
that movie was fucking awful. That movie was awful. It was bad. I hated it.
It was, yeah. The only thing I liked about the movie, I would say, is I like Gambit, how they put Gambit into the movie. No? Or Wolverine.
Yeah.
That was cool. I really liked how they did Gambit in that movie. No?
I like the actor too. The actor was much better
Yes, exactly.
than
Huh?
the actor was much better than the Wolverine versus Wolverine Deadpool movie version of it.
What I know, yeah, that was, how should I say it? It was the
Channing Tatum,
okay,
yeah.
okay, we're going totally fucking off topic now, Matt.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're watching this podcast because you want us to stick just to the movie and banter about
Yeah.
the movie, then you're watching it
Yeah.
for the wrong fucking.
Because the Gambit from Deadpool versus Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, I guess, no, was, I don't know, it just felt fucking cheap to me. I mean, I first saw it in German, and the German dubs was like this real bad French accent. When I thought it was bad. No?
Mhm.
And then I watched it recently in English again, and as usual, it's 100 times better in English. No? But even that character specifically, I don't know. I mean, visually, no? He looks brilliant, like Gambit from the comics, But I did not really like the interpretation of it.
It was probably the truest to comic book form Gambit's ever been portrayed, accent and all, in terms of the
Yeah.
American version, or the American dub version of that movie, because he was a Cajun guy, which, if you know anything about Cajun from New Orleans, that's a mix of French and English. It's like Creole. And the accent was down pat, but I think only when you watch Wolverine versus Deadpool do you realize how absolutely stupid the character is. Like, it falls apart once it's in live action completely. Like, yes, he looked good. The character himself was just annoying as fuck. I didn't like the interpretation of him. I prefer the interpretation from the Wolverine movie. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what they tried to do, the comic accurate version would work if they did it right, but it's just, the only thing that was good about it was visually how he looked.
Yeah.
That was great. And how overall, no, X-Men is like the only thing I actually liked from Marvel. X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'll agree
Everything
with you
else
on
is
that.
eh.
That's probably going to get us a little bit of hate, but quite honestly, everything else has been trash, at least in the
I
movie
don't care.
universe. It's been trash, except for maybe the Punisher. I got
wouldn't
my
call it
feelings
trash.
about the Punisher. I like the Punisher.
No, I mean, I like the Avengers movies. Not that I don't like the Marvel movies. It's just I was never really a major fan of the even back in the day when I read comics.
Yeah.
Because the only superheroes from Marvel that I liked, just like I said, was X-Men and Spider-Man. Everything else I thought was just boring.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of what they've done. I'm kind of hoping we get a full reboot of everything. That'd be good. And this time, maybe do it right.
Yeah.
Wait, so back to Scream, right? What we get now is a scene inside the high school where she basically has a run-in with Skeet at the school after she's accused him of being the killer, and he spent the night in jail, right? So she meets him in the hallway. She basically tries to apologize to him. This is your other hint that this guy is also the killer, because, again, the guy's a fucking cocksore, man. Like, this guy does not know how to talk to women. He's a total fucking sociopath. He shows up. He's like, "You fucking blame me for the murder," And then on top of that, in a nutshell, on top of that, you're not putting out, like, you're not banging me. So what the fuck? And she's like, my mom has not been dead yet for an entire year. So I'm not really through the grieving process. And
Yeah.
then instead of doing what any guy would do, which would be, you know what? You're right. I'm an asshole. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm sorry. He says, well, you should just get over it. You should just get over it and move on. When my mom left my dad, I just got over it. Life goes on. Yeah, well, your mom left. She's not dead, jerk off.
It's not the same thing. Yeah.
Fucking cocksucker, man. I don't like this guy at all. Did not like his character throughout the entire movie. And there's hints right and left that this guy is a fucking sociopath. This is yet again another one, right?
Yeah.
Next scene we get is fucking great because this is Fonz, right? The principal, Fonzarelli. And he's got two kids in his office that were running through the school with the Scream costume on, which, I mean, I can see kids doing this if this was my school.
I would totally be. I would totally be the guy to do this just to fuck with everybody.
Well, I mean, Mike, we lived to scare people. This would have been like my calling card. If I can put on a costume and fucking freak everybody in the school out, I would have done it too. Absolutely. That's fucking.
Yeah.
But these two guys are in trouble because they were wearing the costume running through the school when there were murders going on. The principal has him in his office and he's got fucking scissors in his hands. Like, these are not just like little school scissors. These are like fucking tailor scissors. These big fucking. And he's waving it around in their faces, just like pointing scissors in their faces. He's like, you fucking assholes. You're degenerate cocksuckers. And he's like waving this fucking scissors around in their face, like haphazardly, dude. Like he almost stabs one of them and just losing his fucking mind. He takes the Scream mask that he took off of him and starts cutting it up, and says, you know what? You're both expelled. Get the fuck out of my office. They try to plead their case. They're like, look, it was just a little bit of fun. We didn't hurt anybody, whatever. And Fonzarelli's like, okay, and shuts his door like he's gonna talk to him and be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I was too hard on you. We won't expel you, whatever. No, he waves the fucking scissors around in their face again, almost stabbing both of them, and then it's like, get the fuck out of my office. The guy's a complete fucking psycho, man. I love this principal. I'm so glad they picked him for the role because he's a total psycho.
Yeah.
Next scene we get, Sydney's in the bathroom, right? So she's in the bathroom, probably going to redo her makeup or whatever, but not feeling real good about herself, obviously, with everything that's happened. She just came off the argument with Skeet. And she hears two other girls talking about her outside of the bathroom. So she runs back in one of the bathroom stalls and hides. And the girls come in and they just say a bunch of mean shit about her without knowing that she's there, right? So they start talking about her mom being a slut. And, she's probably a slut too. Just all these fucking things that girls are fucking mean to each other, dude. Sorry. Like, I don't know. It's probably the same in Germany, right?
People, the most people are they're assholes or idiots. It applies to both guys and girls.
I don't know, man. I think girls are fucking super mean to each other. Like, much worse than guys are. Because guys will say some shit, right, behind each other's backs. And then usually if there's a confrontation, the guys will fight it out and it'll be over and squashed, right? It's done. With girls, they just continue to talk behind each other's backs and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And maybe it'll come to a confrontation, but even after the confrontation's over with, they just keep talking shit on each other. This is my experience. Maybe there's some girls that can comment on that, but girls are fucking horribly mean to each other. Anyway, she hides in the bathroom stall. They talk their shit and then they leave. She's in the bathroom stall crying. Comes back out of the bathroom stall, wipes tears out of her eyes and starts fixing her makeup. And then we hear the name Sydney that's whispered really lowly. And she thinks she hears it, but she's not really sure if she heard it, right? And so she looks around and she realizes there's a bathroom fan at the top that's kind of making a whirring sound. So she's like, it's probably just a bathroom fan. Nobody said my name. So she goes back to doing her makeup. And then she hears louder, Sydney. Now she knows that someone's in the fucking bathroom with her, right? And then we get this really fucking cool scene. She looks under the stalls and doesn't see anybody in the stalls. But then these fucking boots come down. And you have to pay attention to these boots because you see these boots again. The boots come down, like from on top the fucking toilet. The boots come down and then the costume goes down over the boots. So you know it's fucking Ghostface. Right? Ghostface jumps out of the fucking stall and attacks her. She's able to get away. If he tries to attack her, she gets away, runs outside. At this point, we see another reporter. So the reporter's just showing the costume and saying, this is the costume reportedly worn by the killer. And we've already had 3 murders, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea that this is all local news everywhere. And along with the reporter van and Gail Weathers and a couple other reporters, the police are also on the scene. This is where we get Doofy walking into the school, and Gail Weathers cuts him off and is like, "Oh, yeah, you're a friend of Sidney Prescott's. Wow, you look really young to be a cop." Dewey probably doesn't have a whole lot of girls hitting on him, so he's like really into this while at the same time trying to be professional, you know. And she's like, "Yeah, you're kind of cute. You blah blah blah." She's totally hitting on this guy, and he's just eating it up the whole time. She's just trying to get him to say something so that she can put it out to the public.
Yeah,
right? She's trying to get a fucking
to the
story.
degree, to her defense, I think also not. I think she's kind of trying to hit 2 birds with 1 stone, because on the one hand, what comes out, of course, in the sequels is first, of course, she wants to get something out of him, but it also when I saw this movie the first time, it always came across to me that she also wants to make him her boy toy. No, that's what it is.
Possibly. I think at this moment, though, it was kind of like a last-ditch effort to get a part of a story to put out. But yeah, later they do get together. And she does. It fucking works because she says, we're trying to figure out who the actual suspects are. If it's not Skeet's character, who's the actual suspects? It wouldn't be, the father of Sydney. And he says, well, we haven't ruled him out, which is a big mistake. Cops are not supposed to say shit like that, especially if there's a murder investigation going on, because the minute the fucking news reports that, the person who is a suspect leaves fucking town. So that was really fucking stupid of him. But anyway, he let that loose. Gail Weathers is going to run with that shit. And that's that. And so after that scene, we get a scene of all of them walking away from school, because school and all of the fucking classes and everything have been canceled now, because now they realize that they have a killer on the loose and that he's killing other people, and it's not just a specific targeted group, right? So the principal's voice comes over the school megaphone and it says, "Hey, all the classes are being canceled at this moment. And by the way, there's a curfew now in place for the town. And I think it's like a 9 o'clock curfew or some shit like that, right?" This is where we get some more like really fucking great acting by fucking Matthew Lillard again. This guy is a complete fucking psycho. This whole scene of him talking to Rose and Sydney on the way out, he's acting like he's been doing coke all night. Like this is a guy who has been doing cocaine and drinking soda all night, because everything that comes out of his mouth is just spaz territory type stuff. But hilarious. Again, this dude makes a fucking movie. Next scene, we get the principal again is in his office, and he's trying on the fucking Scream mask, because he has a mask that he confiscated from students. So he's in his office alone, and he puts on the Scream mask on his face and looks in the mirror, and then he gets a knock on his office door, right? Says, who's there? And walks outside and looks, and he says, "Damn little bastards," when he opens the door. Now, movie trivia again, Mike. I don't know if you noticed this. There is a janitor in the hallway, right? And the janitor is wearing the Freddy Krueger costume. from
I noticed
the Freddy
that. That's
Krueger
why I
movie.
brought it up because this is straight out for Nightmare on Elm Street, no?
Yeah. Yeah. He walks out. The janitor is wearing the full Freddy costume, and he looks up. He's even got the fedora on, right? And he looks up and he's like,
Yeah.
hey, don't call me that. Because he walks out and goes, little bastards. The janitor thinks he's talking to him and is like, hey, don't call me that. And he's like, not you, Fred. So the janitor's name is actually Fred. By the way, do you know who the actor is that's playing Fred? Yeah, it's Wes Craven, dude. Wes Craven. I just thought that was fucking brilliant. Like, the guy is a total troll. Like, he's been trolling the Freddy movies since the beginning of this film. And now he's
Yeah.
posing as a janitor in the hallway with the Freddy costume on. He's like, "Rrr," and his name's Fred. Anyway, the fucking principal walks back in his office, looks around. He's like, yeah, there's obviously nobody here. And then he closes the door. Ghostface pops out from behind the door and stabs him to death. So now the principal's fucking dead, right? Next scene we get Sydney and Rose McGowan's character standing on their front porch, kind of talking about Cotton Weary, which is the guy who was blamed for her father's death. Rose says, hey, don't worry about it. I'm sure the truth will come out. If you were wrong, then whatever. We also get in the background of this conversation, you see Ghostface running through the yard behind them. So he's in the area. Ghostface is like around the fucking house. Next scene. So next scene we get after that is in the video store where Randy works. What a fucking job, dude. Like this guy's a total horror fanatic, only wants to talk about horror, and he works in a video store. So he's just like stocking the shelves with horror movies. Stu comes in to talk to him, and Stu's like, what's going on? He's like, dude, I gotta work fucking overtime. Since all these fucking murders, everybody's renting videos from the horror section. Like I'm busy as shit. And then again, as if you needed more like proof that this guy and Skeet might actually be the killers. This whole conversation is about who a killer is, uh, what the killer's motives would be, um, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And everything that Randy says points to these two guys, who are, by the way, acting like complete fucking psychos in the video store right now. Like, one of them's walking around brooding, giving dirty looks to everybody. Stu is doing his typical psycho thing, just being a total spaz and saying things that don't make any sense. That's Stu being Stu. This whole thing, Randy even says, if this was a movie, you guys would be the killers. You guys would be the killers because you're acting like the killers and you have the perfect motives to be the killers, right? And I love that they reiterate that throughout this film. It's like the killers are under your nose the whole time. They keep pointing out who the fucking killers are, and yet nobody gets it. I fucking love it. And so they leave the video store, and the next scene we get is of the town, right? And you see the town is basically cleared out. It's becoming a ghost town because of the curfew. Everything has to close down. Shops are closing their doors. Signs say closed due to curfew. The girls have decided to go to the store and pick up a bunch of food because there's a party tonight. If you can't be out past 9 o'clock, then they're all going to go to Randy's house and there's going to be a party at Randy's house, which when you have a curfew in the United States, there's nothing against having a party where there's a shitload of teenagers hanging out as long as you don't leave the house, right? Which I never understood that. Because if you have a killer on the loose who is specifically killing teenagers, you would not want teenagers to be having a big party at someone's house. Like that is probably a huge mistake. Turns out to be a huge mistake, as we'll find out. Doofy lets them off in the store to go shopping, and he goes directly back to the police station, and he's having a conversation with the chief of police. This is where the boots come back in, and this is a huge red herring thrown at the audience, right? So if you looked at the boots earlier that came out from underneath the bathroom stall, the police chief is wearing the exact same boots because he's smoking a cigarette, throws a cigarette on the ground, and then puts it out with his shoe. And there's a close up on his boots and some ominous music. So they're trying to get you to think that it's the chief of police that's doing the murder, right? Nice red herring. Doesn't really work though, because the chief of police is kind of a big guy. Like he's not exactly thin. And Ghostface is a thin, little wiry guy. So it's a bad red herring. It's not a good red herring, but they do it anyway. At least makes you think, right? Next scene we get, Gail Weathers is riding around in her van trying to follow the kids around because Dewey is driving Sydney and Rose McGowan's character to the party, right? So he's driving them to the party to drop them off. Gail Weathers and her police van is right behind them, far enough away to where he can't see them, but they're following him because she figures if you follow these two girls, they have something to do with what's going on, and if the killer's going to attack anybody, it's going to be these two. So they go in the house. You kind of get a look at what a 90s party looks like. 90s parties were much better because not everybody was sitting around on their fucking phones the entire time. Everybody's drinking, everybody's having a good time, nobody's on their phone. I miss fucking parties like this, Mike. So one of the kids has the beer funnel out. They're funneling beers already. People are getting drunk. Gail Weathers pulls up and gets out of the van, and her cameraman, this poor fucking bastard, fucking cameraman, dude. This guy gets insulted the entire film by her. She always calling him a fat ass.
But I would tell her to go fuck herself. You know, I mean, I would not put up with somebody like this.
I agree with you. On the other hand, like, it depends on what kind of person you are. Like, money doesn't mean shit to me. I don't care about money. So if I'm getting paid really good and you're treating me like shit, I'll still walk away. But most people, she's paying this dude a shit ton of money because he is with her 24/7. She's already loaded rich because of her book, so she's probably paying him a bunch of money. And he probably figures, dumb bitch, she can say whatever she wants as long as I get paid. Doesn't work out very well for him in the end, though. Not at all.
No.
She gets out of the van, and immediately Dewey walks up, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing here?" She's like, "Fuck. Okay. Yeah, we're just riding around, looking for a story. What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I was dropping the girls off at this party." Like, okay, Doofy, fucking idiot. He's just giving her all the details so she can be exactly where she should be. And she's like, "Oh, well, if there's a party going on, I don't have anything else to do. Do you mind if I go with you?" She's obviously not going with him because she wants to be with him. She's going because she wants to be at the party with a camera just in case something happens, right? So she tells her cameraman, "Hey, stay here in the van. I'm going to go to this party. But I need a camera because she's got like a tiny little camera that she can put in the house." So she tells Doofy, "Hey, yeah, just give me a minute. I got to grab my jacket from the van." Turns around to the van, grabs the jacket and the camera, puts the camera underneath the jacket, and then walks to the party with him. So we already know what she's planning on doing. She's planning on filming the whole fucking thing. This leads into the best kill in the movie. Right? This is literally my favorite fucking kill. Rose McGowan's character, who is already wearing a shirt that is way too thin, and she has nipples that could literally cut glass. Like these nipples are like bugging out of this sweater, dude. And this is the most used meme by horror Facebook pages or anybody who talks about horror. It's usually like a picture of her when she opens the garage door, standing there with her shirt on and her nipples just poking right through it. And it says, "How excited are you for Halloween?" And then it shows a picture of her. Fuck it. Great character, but she gets off here. So she goes into the garage at this party to get beer out of the fridge. This, Mike, is also the kill scene that they totally make fun of in Scary Movie. That's also excellent. Right?
Yeah, because it's fucking hilarious.
Dude.
What I love about this scene is Ghostface comes upon, and she's like, "Oh, can I be the hopeless victim?" And his reaction is just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, please don't kill me."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, It is
Yeah,
just simply hilarious because she doesn't know it's actually Ghostface, no? Until he actually just picks up a knife and cuts her arm,
cuts her. Yeah.
Then she realizes. Yeah.
My thing is at this point, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I would automatically think with this guy running around killing people that this was actually him. But she thinks it's somebody from the party joking with her. So she goes and grabs beer from the fridge. The lights go out in the room where she's at. She's like, what the fuck? She walks back to the door to try to open the door with all this beer in her arm, and the door is fucking locked.
Yeah.
Turns around and goes back and tries to turn on the light again. Gets the light back on, turns back around to the door, and Ghostface is standing there. And of course, like you said, she thinks it's somebody fucking with her. So she's like,
Yeah.
ooh, do I get to be the hopeless victim? And Ghostface is like, and she's like, okay, are you going to let me through the door? And he's like, no, just shakes his fucking head and then pulls out a knife and, like you said, cuts her arm. And this is where she realizes, holy shit, this is actually the killer. This is not somebody at the fucking party fucking with me. She drops all the beer. He chases her around a little bit. Rose is able to kick his ass over because, this ghost face is probably Stu again. She kicks him over. He falls. She pushes the garage door so that the garage door opens. So she's going to run out and try to get out, right? But the garage door stops halfway up. And she turns around and looks, and Ghostface is over there pushing the fucking button to bring the garage door back down. This garage door has a doggy door in it. And so she thinks, okay, I'll try to squeeze my double D cups out through this fucking doggy door. Right. So as the garage door is coming down, she tries to crawl through the doggy door. Ghostface, of course, realizes this, is not going to pass up the opportunity for a fantastic way to kill someone. So he hits the button for the garage door to go back up. Of course, she's stuck in the doggy door, and it goes up and up and up, and then just smashes her fucking head, and she gets her neck caught in the fucking door and dies. And she's just kind of hanging there, right? My question, Mike, if all of the beer for this party is in the fridge like we saw in the garage, because she had to go out to the garage to get the beer, why has nobody else come back out into the garage to get beer and noticed that this girl that everyone knows is hanging stuck dead in the garage door? Apparently, the rest of this party, nobody drank any beer.
Nobody cares. Nobody notices because this is where the party's going on. Yeah, by the way, and she goes out to get beer. No, then after that, everybody decides to sit back and watch a horror movie in the front room, and nobody. Now the thing is, everything happening here should have caused such fucking noise you would have heard it in the entire house.
Yeah.
And they're not even listening to loud music.
No, there's nothing going on. It's just a bunch of people standing in a room talking. He screamed multiple times, and the garage door going up and killing her would have made a lot of noise too. But this was also the kill that I like because it's very reminiscent of Friday the 13th. And so I kind of went back and looked that up to see if anybody else had said anything about it. And sure enough, like the makers of the movie were like, yeah, we wanted something that was kind of a callback to like earlier horror movies and the kills that happened. And that's why that kill happened. And thank God it did, because in my opinion, that's the best kill in the fucking movie.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so she's dead. People at the party are horsing around. Randy's like, hey, we should watch a movie. What movie do they pick to watch? I was thinking it probably should have been Freddy Krueger since Wes Craven is on this fucking Nightmare on Elm Street kick, but it's not. It's Halloween, the first Halloween movie. So they put the movie in and they're watching it. Sydney then goes to the front door. I think she's thinking about leaving the party because she doesn't want to be there. She's not really in the right mood. And of course, who's standing at the fucking door? Stu is standing at the fucking door with Skeet. Right. And so she takes this opportunity to maybe try to make up with him a little bit. So they go upstairs and they have a conversation about their relationship. It's pretty cringe. They end up having sex. We don't really see that, but we know that's what happens. This is another cool scene that we get when everybody's downstairs at the party. Randy's sitting there talking and explaining the whole fucking movie away, which, by the way, Mike, I can't fucking stand it when people do this shit. Like, for a podcast, it's all right. We're sitting here talking about the movie, talking about everything that went into the movie and all that stuff. Randy's the guy you do not want to watch a fucking horror movie with because he talks through the whole fucking thing.
It explains to you what happens into the
Yeah.
movie. It's
And
annoying
then
as
gets
shit.
up in front of the movie, pauses it, and starts explaining the rules of horror films to everyone, right? He's like, yeah, you never do this, you never do this, and you never do this because if you do this, you die. So no sex, no drugs, and no drinking. Every time he says no sex, everybody's like, boo, and they throw popcorn at him. Then he's like, no drinking, boo, everybody throws popcorn at him. Whatever, everybody's upset with him at this point. And then he says, and whatever you do, never leave a room and say, I'll be back because you're definitely going to fucking die. And at that point, Stu gets up and he's like, hey, by the way, does anybody want any more beer? And several people in the room are like, yeah, I'll take one. He's like, good, I'll be back. He like backs off out of the room and everybody's like, oh, yeah, great joke. I still love this fucking character. Makes the movie.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah.
So flash forward a little bit and you've got Gail Weathers and her cameraman in their van. She's placed the camera underneath the TV, which we kind of skipped that, but she puts it under the TV under a book so that it's actually filming the kids watching the movie. She's back in her van and her camera operator are watching what's going on in the tape, but they realize that there's a 30-second delay on the film, right? So because of that 30-second delay, they're not actually getting what's happening at this very moment, right? And he notices that because Gail comes back to the van and he goes, oh shit, you're still on the screen. So that means how long did it take you to get here? And she's like, oh, about 30 seconds. He's like, okay, 30-second delay. Gotcha. So they're sitting and they're eating. Doofy walks up to the van and is like, hey, I got a report that there's a car in the woods back here. Somebody called it in, so I'm going to go check it out. Do you want to come with me? Gail's like, yeah, absolutely. So she goes with him to go check out the car that's in the woods. Flash forward a little bit. Sydney and Skeet are making out up in the bedroom. So we get a flash forward down to the den where everybody's watching the movie. During the movie, there's a call on the phone. Randy picks up the phone and he's like, hey, what's going on? You don't hear the voice on the other end of the phone. You think it may be the killer, but it's not. It's a friend of his. His friend is telling him, hey, the fucking principal is dead. He was found hanging from the goalpost at the football stadium, like where the high school football games happen. Everybody's like, oh shit, that's crazy. The principal's dead. Let's go. So they all want to leave the party to go check out the body that's hanging from the goalpost.
That's why. Yeah.
So everybody leaves the party. The only person that's left that we think is left is Randy. And Randy's going to stay there and watch the rest of Halloween by himself, right? So he's sitting there commenting to himself at the screen every time that Michael Myers is around. He's like, oh, Jamie, look behind you, Jamie. He kind of does the same shit we do where we don't like say the actual name of the character. We say the actor's name who's playing. He's like, Jamie, look behind you. Oh, look, he's right behind you. What are you doing? I fucking like this scene. Doofy and Gail Weathers are walking. I don't know why they chose to walk since he's got a police car. Can you explain that to me?
What?
Him and Gail Weathers are walking on the street, probably a mile down the road, to go check out this car that somebody radioed in and said there's a car in the woods. They decide to walk there instead of driving, which makes no sense to me, but plot armor, right?
Yeah. They're because Doofy's an idiot.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So they're walking down the road and they hear cars coming from behind them. Of course, these are the cars of all the kids that are leaving the party and they're hauling ass in these cars. They're in the middle of the road. Doofy is like, stop. Of course, they're not going to stop, but he continues to be like, stop. And then him and Gail have to jump out of the way of these cars that are speeding at like 70 miles an hour down this country road. And when they jump off the road and land in the woods, they notice that they landed right where the car was that he's looking for. Dewey goes over and looks at the car and realizes that it's the car of Sydney's father, who's supposed to be gone right now, right? So he's supposed to be off in some other fucking state right now, and his car is parked in the woods. So automatically, they think, oh shit, this guy is a prime suspect in all these deaths, and his car is parked right down the street from this party. that means he's probably there. So they get up and haul ass back to the house, thinking that her dad's there and he's probably going to murder some people. This is where we get the scene where they cut back to the bedroom. Sydney and Skeet are done having sex. They're putting their clothes back on. And so Sydney starts to get another premonition that he might actually be the killer, right? And so she's like, why did you have a cell phone? Why, I've never seen you with a cell phone before, blah, blah, blah. He kind of explains it away. And then he says, what am I going to have to do to get you to believe that I am not the killer? It's ridiculous.
Also, this is also a scene that I find it's insanely fucking stupid. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I mean, you can't tell me in any way, that if she had any suspicion he was the killer and he tried to kill her or whatever, nobody could tell me this woman will be having sex with him. I'm sorry. That is like, now she is like, I mean, that is far beyond naive. That's just flat out stupid. I mean, I'm sorry.
Is it though, Mike? Is it? How many women do you know? And be honest here. How many girls or women do you know that will continue to go back to the same fucking guy that has done terrible things to them over and over again, and probably have suspicions that he's into other stuff and still sleep with the guy? How many?
This is not that kind of a situation, Matt. She called the police on him and all of these things going on. So she clearly is not really like in her head like she loves this guy so much or whatever. And it's just like I
don't know. I think
stupid.
I think she's very.
You're talking about toxic relationships. And
Yes.
That's something entirely different than from what's happening here.
Not necessarily. I mean, so she still has she's got a doubt in her mind, right? That this guy's the killer, because the killer called her while he was in jail. So actually she knows in her head that he's not actually the killer, but this is a spot after she's had sex with him where it kind of dawns on her, wait a minute. What if there's more than one killer? I think that's what this is. I think she slept with him before she had this premonition, and then she's like, wait a minute, why does he have a cell phone? And why don't I have that number? Maybe there's two killers. Maybe the guy that called me while he was in prison was the other killer. And we don't hear that inner monologue, but I think that's what that is. So at this point, she thinks, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe he is a fucking killer. Right? I think that's why this happened. It's kind of like, I didn't really think the whole story through before I slept with the guy. Shit, Anyway, he basically says, what do I have to do to make you believe I'm not the killer? And at this moment, Ghostface comes to the fucking door behind Skeet and stabs him. Okay, we do not see, this is fucking stupid. This is a part that I don't like, Mike. This is a part that I don't agree with. So Ghostface doesn't stab him in the back. Like any killer that would walk in and see this guy would have stabbed him in the back multiple times before he turned around. Ghostface stands there, waits for Sydney to react in some way and let him know that the killer is behind him so he can turn around. And the minute he turns around, that's when Ghostface stabs him. We know why, right? But this should have come off as extremely odd to Sydney. Like, I would not have bought this death at all. I would not have believed that this happened, right? So he turns around and gets stabbed multiple times in the chest. I'm not talking about like once or twice. Ghostface continues to stab him over and over and over. This would have killed anyone. After he gets stabbed multiple times, he turns around, and Mike, there's only two wounds. There's one here, and there's one here, and there's blood all over his shirt.
Yeah, because he's not really stabbing him.
Right, of course. But we just saw him stab him 9 times at least. And of course, maybe it's like the heat of the moment. She doesn't realize there's only 2 stab wounds that look very superficial, but whatever. So, and she immediately goes for the window and jumps out the window. Ghostface is right there, and he kind of like catches her arm before she's able to completely get out of the window. and then lets go, which causes her to fall from the window onto a boat.
Yeah.
So the boat was conveniently placed beneath the window, which, okay, whatever. She runs directly to the van that Gail Weathers has that's parked out front. She goes through probably the most rickety fucking fence I've ever seen in my entire life on a property. This thing looked like
Yeah.
it was built by a blind person. Um, but she's able to just pull the gate apart, the fence apart, and just walk right through it. Uh, Goes into the van, Gail Weathers' van. She's sitting there with the camera operator and looking at what the camera sees on the inside of the house. And what the camera sees on the inside of the house is Ghostface walking right up behind Randy and about to stab him with the fucking knife, right? And the camera operator's like, wait a minute, there's a 30-second delay on this. Oh shit. Opens the van door, steps out, sees that the door of the house is wide open, which means that Ghostface is probably outside, turns to her to push her into the van to get her safe. And when he does that, he turns back around and gets the knife right across the fucking throat. Right? So now he's dead. Drops this dude is probably like a good 250 pounds, I'm gonna say. He's a pretty big fucking dude, right? He hits the ground and Ghostface jumps into the van where Sydney is. Sydney is getting out through the front of the van through a tiny hole that's underneath one of the seats. She gets out and gets away. Ghostface is kind of too big to go through the hole, so he has to back out. This is something I don't understand because at this very moment, Mike, either Stu or Skeet has picked this fucking 250-pound cameraman up and put him on top of the van. We don't see this happen, but I have to wonder how they did it because the next time we see his body, he's on top of the van.
I don't know, maybe both of them.
Plot armor?
Yeah.
Maybe both of them. I don't know. No, because one of them's in the house. That's the other thing. One of them is in the house. But whatever, it doesn't matter. So Sydney got out through the hole. Sydney runs back to the house at this exact same time. Doofy and Gail are running back up the road and make it to the house, right? At this time, Sydney still believes that there's probably just one killer. Like there's not two. So she thinks if she goes back in the house, she's safe. Dewey gets outside to where his police truck is, tells Gail, stay here. I'm going inside. So he runs inside with his gun and is basically clearing the house, right? He's got his gun out, walking through the house, every door, starts going up the stairs. And I think he gets stabbed in the back here, but I don't think we see it happen.
Yeah. He gets stabbed in the back by Ghostface. Goofy gets stabbed in the back. Panic goes on. Sydney is, I don't know, we're all going to die. Somebody's going to kill me or whatever. Then she runs into the police car. No? Trying to get away from Ghostface. No? And this he's looking for the keys everywhere. And this is kind of a pretty funny scene because Ghostface taps on the window with his knife and then just tangles around with the keys. No?
I've got the keys, bitch. Yeah.
And then somehow Sydney panics, gets out of the car. I'm not entirely sure why, but Ghostface is gone then, no? And while Sydney is running back into the house, Randy pops up behind her. And Stu.
At the same time, right.
Totally freaked out, like, okay, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is... At the same time, no? And she and they're trying to explain to her what happened. And she's just totally freaked out by both of them. No? So she runs into the house and
she grabs
Randy
the gun first. She grabs the gun
from
Dewey's body that's laying in front of the door.
Exactly, no? Then they slam the door shut. It's only her and Randy. Then, no? Skeet comes down, no? Through the stairs or whatever. And this is like the first thing that, okay, now you know he's the killer. You know, now it's, I mean, at this point, you should have got
well,
it.
I mean, do you though?
Because it was just like, at this point, you don't know that he's not really stabbed. But it's like, he was obviously dead, and now he's walking around again. He convinces Sydney to give him the gun, and once she gives him the gun, he just turns around and shoots Randy. and Randy falls on the floor, probably becomes unconscious through the shock. Because I think if you get shot, that really can, if you've never been shot before, never happened to me, but I can imagine that you will knock you on the floor and you could have become unconscious because of the shock. I can imagine.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. Yeah.
However, then of course at this point, Sidney realized that he was the killer, and he just starts licking off his finger, and is like, "Oh, corn syrup," and it's like, corn syrup isn't red, but okay, whatever. It's brown, but
No. It's so for movies they use corn syrup with food coloring to make blood. That's what they use for every movie.
okay,
He even
okay,
says
okay,
that they used
exactly.
it for the movie Carrie, for
They
the
used food
scene in
coloring.
Carrie.
Yeah, that's what he said exactly. They used corn syrup with food coloring. Okay, with the food color, but he doesn't say food coloring. He just says it's corn
He
syrup.
just says corn syrup.
Like in the movie Carrie or whatever. Okay. Then Sydney runs, and she's stopped by Stu in the kitchen. This is like a funny scene that Scary Movie made fun of brilliantly. No,
I think, Mike, from this point on, we almost have to say the rest of the movie is just fucking Matthew Lillard's acting career going to the roof. Because from this point on, he is just a straight fucking character, dude. I watched this twice because I just
yeah,
love how he does this. Like, he's a total character this whole scene.
it's hilarious because then basically, Skeet explains to Sydney why he's been doing all of this shit. What I'm going to be honest, in my opinion, I think it's also kind of ridiculous, no? Because Sydney's mom, no, was having an affair with Skeet's dad. If it's true or not does not really matter.
Yeah.
But because of that reason, his mom left his dad, so he is now going apeshift and just killing everybody. That first he killed her mom, no? And now he's just going after everybody that her mom loved. And this is like, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, it's his this entire motivation is
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say
yeah.
the truth is, Mike, this kind of thing happens a lot. So serial killers and people that are sociopaths and people that murder people don't really need a reason to do
Yeah.
it, but if they can find something to latch onto and say that's the
They'll do
reason,
it, yeah. Yeah.
they'll use that. And I've seen that. I mean, you knew what my job was before I retired, right? So if you have a sociopath or a psychopath, which I would consider Skeet a psychopath. He just needed a reason. His reason was his mom or her mom was a total slut, banged everybody in the town, including his dad. And because of her mom, his dad left. And that's why he doesn't have a dad anymore. And that's why he doesn't have a mom anymore. So he blames it all on her. So he killed her mom and then wanted to make her life miserable, eventually killing her, and then using all of this as an excuse for the murders. Thankfully, there was another complete psychopath that was there as well in Matthew Lillard's character, and he was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're fucking insane. Why don't you just do this with me?" And that's how that happened.
Yeah, that was like literally it, because he's even asked later on about his motivation, and he was just like, "Well, no, I was bored. I thought, fuck it, why not?"
Yeah. And that's pretty true to life, dude. That's how those people are. They need something to latch onto, so they have a scapegoat, and they're like, "Well, this
Yeah,
justifies murdering everyone, so I'll just hold on to this." And that's what happened.
yeah,
But this whole scene is great because the two guys basically explain to her why they're doing what they're doing, um, and then they try to follow through on the rest of their plan, albeit very badly. There's a lot of things they didn't think about here. Um, they both take the knife, and he's like, "Okay, so it's my turn to stab you because you need a knife wound." So Matthew Lillard's character is like, "Okay, baby, let's do this," and he puts his hands behind his head, and he's like, "Do it, do it." It's like fucking crazy acting. Fucking Skeet stabs him, but doesn't stop. So he stabs him a few times, like 3 or 4 times. I'm not really sure that needed to happen, but whatever. He stabbed him a little bit too deep too, because you see his character getting a little bit woozy, like he's losing too much blood. And then he tells Matthew Lillard's character, "Hey, now it's your turn. Stab me, but make sure after he stabbed him too deep, he's like, make sure that you don't go too deep and that you stay to the outside so you don't hit any internal organs." And Matthew Lillard stabs him too. So they take turns stabbing each other so that they look like the victim.
Shortly before that, they brought in her dad. No,
Oh, that's
and then
right.
they're
They pulled
talking.
her dad out of the closet. Right?
Yeah, but that happens before that. What actually happens is, I think, Gail comes in with a gun. No, oh no, because Matthew Lillard wants to get back to the gun because they were going to shoot her dad and they were going to shoot her and her dad and make it look like her dad shoot her and then shot himself, but then the gun was gone. And then like, oh my God, we got a problem. Where the fuck is the gun? And both Skeet and Master Stewart, Stu, whatever the fuck, Stu, no, were
Yeah.
flipping out about this. And then Monica comes up. Monica, I called her Monica,
Monica!
because that's the character she played. Trent.
Yes. That's actually what I wanted to call her this whole time. I've been trying to keep myself from calling her fucking Monica from Friends the whole goddamn time. Okay. Yes. Yes. Monica comes in and takes the gun and pulls it on both of them. Fuck yeah. Okay.
She explains an alternate thing that this story should somewhat happen or whatever, and then Sydney's like, "Oh yeah, I like that," and then then a kind of fight starts, no? And basically, I'm not entirely sure what happens. Skeet kind of gets shot or not.
What happens is she's got the gun trained on both of them. Skeet is like, "I know something you don't know," and Gale is kind of backing up with the weapon because he's getting closer and closer. And he fucking punches her in the face and takes the gun because she tries to shoot him and it doesn't work. And he takes the gun and says, "It works better with the safety off." So the safety on the gun was on, and that's why she didn't get to shoot him, right? Yeah. So he takes the gun away from her. At this point, Sydney is gone. She flew the coop. She fucking left. They think that she ran out of the house while they were with Gail trying to get the weapon out of her hand. They start looking for her. One of the places that they go look is in the closet where they originally had her father, right? And so he opens the closet door, and who's standing in the closet door but Ghostface? Ghostface is in the closet door with a fucking umbrella, and Ghostface stabs fucking Skeet in the chest twice with this umbrella. And this is a cool scene because she literally fucking stabs him with this umbrella, like twice in the chest, right? He falls on the ground, and then you realize that Sydney is actually Ghostface. She takes off the mask and is like laughing at him because now he's on the ground, actually stabbed, right? Matthew Lillard is in the kitchen right now. Something that we missed is that somebody pulled the phone off the hook and called someone, right? I don't remember who they called.
The phone of the house, or she called the phone and Stewart picked up the phone. I think there was a short discussion going on. I think it was between Sydney and Stewart, because it's a kind of funny scene. Because what I said before, Sydney says, "Yeah, I know about Skeet's motivation, but what was yours?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm dying here, and well, I just thought, why the fuck not?" It's something like that he asked, and he's like, "Oh my God, my parents are going to be so mad at me." And he's almost crying at this.
Love this guy. I can't wait for him to come back for 7 because I hope the character is just as insane as he was in this movie. We gotta hope so anyway. Sydney has now stabbed Skeet. Skeet's on the ground. Sydney is trying to get out of the house. Matthew Lillard's character jumps up and tackles her. And there's kind of a fight that goes on in the den where the TV is. They're fighting. She gets him on the ground and then somehow gets him down on the ground and hurt enough, probably because he's weak as fuck, because he's losing a lot of blood. He's laying on the ground looking up at her, and she tips this fucking late 90s fucking huge TV over, and it lands on his fucking head, right? Lands on his head. We assume that he's dead because he also moves around and you hear electricity like he's being shocked through the TV.
Yeah.
And his body's just laying there lifeless, right? So he's dead. And then Randy gets back up. They get Randy back up off the floor, like Randy's in his right mind again. And he's standing with Gail and Sydney looking at the body of Skeet. And they're like, Randy's like, hey, pay attention though. This is the part of the movie where the serial killer comes back to life for one last jump scare and can usually take somebody with him. And of course, Skeet's character comes back to life and basically goes, bah, like, boo. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense, but I think it's effective and it's funny. And I think that's what this movie's good for, is this kind of jump scare. It makes no sense, but it's still great because it follows horror movies.
Yeah. Yep.
Sydney takes the gun and shoots him in the face. Right. Just making
Yeah.
sure the dude is dead as fuck, finally. So now, as far as we know, both killers are dead. Everyone's still alive, and they walk out of the house together.
Next morning, you have like a thing going on because after the cops are there and Gail is, talking something about what happened or whatever. You see shortly, I think like Sydney and her father being okay. Then it goes up showing the house again, and then the movie is over.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the short thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's the end of film. Why did you not like, if you can say that this movie's not that great, right? I disagree. I really fucking like this movie, but you have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
admit, Mike, it was fun. Like, it is a fucking fun horror movie.
Yes,
Not
it is
totally
fun,
boring.
but
I
it's
think
just like,
two
I
makes
don't
a good
know.
movie.
I was never a big slasher fan, and I only saw Scream 1, and I think Scream 3 I haven't seen. I'm not sure if I see. Maybe I've seen this. No, and I don't know. For the most part, it was just half the time. If you have like a lot of scenes that were good. I mean, I like Stu, for example, the shit going on with him or whatever. But very often, I did not really think the trolling and the cameos were really that funny. Neither the thing them leaning into the formula rules of horror movies or whatever is clearly what they were attempting to do, but I just didn't really think it was funny at all. For the most part, yeah. So for the most part, this entire thing going on, I just thought was kind of boring. I mean, yes, they're trying to make fun of it. It's kind of a movie that's trying to make fun of horror movies to begin the typical formula. No, but I don't know. I just did not really find it funny. No, it was maybe I'm not really that kind of a type for Wes Craven's humor. No, it was also the thing, of course, with like the first Nightmare on Elm Street. It's goofy, it's ridiculous, and all that kind of stuff. But I did not really find anything funny about it. There's how should I say it? I mean, for me,
Okay.
for the most part, I just think at least the first Scream movie is goofy, but not goofy in a way that it's actually meant to be funny. That's just how it strikes me. And that part, except the point is, the movie only has the kills. It has like Matthew Lillard. No, that's cool. Everything happening with his character, that's fun. And either than that, it has like literally only the kills. If it's like only the kills in a movie that, is the only good thing you can say about it, that makes the movie for me actually kind of boring. Because I
Okay.
don't only watch horror movies just for the fucking kills. And that's kind of those things. It's
Yeah,
just
I
like
don't
Halloween
either.
movies.
I
I'll
like
compare
the
this.
banter. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would compare it to a certain degree to Halloween. The only thing interesting in Halloween to a certain degree are the kills. That happen,
Yeah,
even though you don't
dude,
see much of the first half.
Halloween is boring as
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. And yeah, and this is like for me, I feel with this movie the same way I do with Halloween. No, just it's for me. This movie is basically it's Halloween with occasionally jokes being made.
Okay.
In my opinion. Yeah. So
I
yeah.
like it. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
like it a lot more. It was the first time anything like this had been done, where a horror movie was semi-serious, but then didn't take itself so seriously that it wasn't able to have like some pretty fucking good jokes in it and a lot of really good banter. Like you have to admit, the conversations that are had in the movie are super interesting and they're funny for the most part. And I say it's brilliant because it spawned an entire fucking franchise that has done well for, if this came out in 1995, the most recent film came out last year. Like it's been going forever and it never ceases to make a lot of money at the box office. Even if it's the same scenario over and over and over again, it's a whodunit. It's less of a slasher film and more of a whodunit film. But I think the writing is what makes it, along with some of the kills. Like, I'm interested, if you haven't seen it, and we might want to do this one for the podcast and skip over 2, 3, and 4. I'm interested in what you have to say about Scream 5 because that movie was fucking great. Like, it took everything about this movie that was good and amplified it and made it better. It's funnier, it's gorier, the story's better. It's just really good. Like, if they had just made part 1 and part 5, I would have been fine with that because the other ones are good, but part 1 and part 5 are classic for me. Like, really fucking good. Plus, I don't know if you know it, but Dewey gets fucking murdered in part 5. Like, he gets killed, right?
Yeah,
And
okay.
for a
okay.
lot of people, that kill specifically is extremely brutal. Like, it's very brutally done, but it's also very emotional. And for people who really like this movie, watching that one, everybody couldn't quit talking about the fact that they killed him off. And when you see the kill, you're like, holy fuck, dude. God damn. Did he have to go out like that? I say watch part 5 and we'll do that one for the podcast a little later because I'm really interested to see what you think about it. The characters are great
Okay.
because they kind of tie into this one specifically. I'm not going to tell you how, you'll have to watch, but they bring back the original killer as well. So Skeet's character comes back in this movie, but not the way that you think. But just watch it. Tell me what you think, and we'll do that one for another podcast because I'd like to see what you think about that one. But other than that, dude, I got nothing else to say about this movie. You got anything?
Oh, no, not really. That's pretty much it. I mean, I pretty much said everything, about it.
Okay. Okay. Do we know what we're doing next time?
The next one on the list should be Dark Harvest. No, that's the one, another
Okay.
guest episode.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah?
if we can get that one done. I just talked to our guest yesterday. We'll see if she can make it, but it's a big possibility. So we'll see. It'll be a surprise. If we don't do Dark Harvest, then we'll pull something else from the list. All right. So
Okay.
I guess we'll see you guys next time for the next episode. Until then, I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
We'll see you guys later.
See you guys later. Bye.
The black skies, the desert side. Simply